Thank you, Sal. And tonight's game is brought to you by Schaefer Beer, by Bristol Myers, makers of Vitalis, by the people of Eastern Airlines, by manufacturers Hanover Trust, and by Miles Laboratories, makers of Alka-Seltzer. Tonight, Game 1 of the best-of-3 Stanley Cup playoff series between the New York Rangers and the New York Islanders. Right now, Carl Martin on the public address, running down the starting lineups. Here are the officials hitting the ice. The referee tonight will be Wally Harris, and the linesman Leon Stickel and Bob Hodges will return after this word from Eastern Airlines.
The people of Eastern believe a great flight.
We're going to do more than just get you there. We're going to take good care of you all the way.
Your trip's important to you, so I make it important to me.
When you fly with Eastern, you're going to take it easy because we're going to make it easy.
You've got to believe.
We're going to make you feel at home. You got to believe.
If you're flying to New Orleans or Houston, Eastern has daily non-stop service to both cities, including the most daily non-stops to Houston. Eastern also has the only non-stop money-saving night coach to Houston, which can save you about 20% off the regular day coach airfare. Most flights to Houston and New Orleans feature Eastern's comfortable 727 Whisper jets with spacious redesigned interiors. For reservations, call the travel specialist, your travel agent, or call Eastern, the wings of man.
The New York Rangers have hit the ice, and it will be Ed Chockerman in goal for the Rangers, defending 2 hours left in this first period. Eddie, in the regular season, finished at 3.48 over 37 games, allowed 120 goals, came up with 1 shutout. For the New York Islanders, who will be hitting the ice in just a moment, it will be Glenn Rex. He had 2.47 during the course of the regular season, over 25 games, allowed 59 goals, and came up with 3 points. The Islanders have defeated the Rangers the last 2 times out. This past Sunday here at the Garden by the score of 6-4. That's the Islanders' first victory ever at Madison Square Garden. And last Saturday at the Nassau Coliseum by the same score of 6-4. Rangers and Islanders have met 6 times this season. Rangers have won 3. The Islanders have won 2. 1 game ended in a tie. Lifetime, these 2 clubs have met 17 times, with the Rangers winning 13, the Islanders winning 3, and they play that 1 tie. Here at the Garden, Rangers have beaten the Islanders 7 times, and there's been 1 Islander victory and the 1 tie. Those 9 games here at the Garden, Rangers outscored the Islanders by a margin of 38 goals to 17. And Billy Fairburn, with 9 goals, is the Rangers' leading lifetime goal scorer against the New York Islanders. Sal, in a series like this, in that it is a best 2 out of 3, you hear the boos for the New York Islanders as they hit the ice, led by goaltender Glenn Resch. In a series like this, best 2 out of 3, I would have to say that, of course, we won't know until we look back after it's all over, but that first goal tonight could be immense.
Especially the type of hockey the Islanders play, a defensive type of game. If they should score the first goal, it'll be to their advantage, I think. The Rangers, of course, play a good defensive game when they're on, and they've been on. Atlanta, a perfect example. I mentioned this on the pregame show. The Rangers actually went out down 2-0 on Friday night and came up with 3 goals, playing a defensive type of hockey, except for the 1 power play goal. Of course, you're all out offensively. And the big factor, Marv, is the goaltending. The hot goaltender in a 3-game series. We talk about a hot goaltender in a 7-game series, but a 3-game series is a patsy for a goaltender, really. If he can stay hot and you play 1 hot game, you have the psychological advantage, and that can keep going.
In a best of 3, very, very little operating room. In other words, no room at all for mistakes.
We're in Game 5 of a 7-game series is what it amounts to.
Okay, both clubs lined up at their blue lines. Here's the playing and singing of our national anthem. question, the crowd is sky high tonight. This shades of Nick playoff time when the crowd begins its chant during the last bars of the national anthem.
And they were up, Marv. That's the loudest pregame roar I've ever heard here at the Garden. In this place, of course, it's a larger place in the old Garden where the crowd noise doesn't get as loud. Although in Nick games, it's tremendous. But that's the loudest I've heard the crowd prior to a face-off.
Decibel level here at the start at the Garden is way up there. As we get set for the opening face-off, referee Wally Harris standing between Andre St. Laurent of the Islanders, John Rattel of the Rangers, and the Rangers control it. Brad Park back at his blue line, throws it ahead for John Rattel. Rattel to center, Rod Gilbert left, shoots in, knocked back the other way, then a whistle for an offside against the Rangers. Emil Francis starting out with Rattel at center, Gilbert on the right, Vickers left, Nick Beverly, Brad Park on the back line, Al Albert with an immediate line change to get the line he wants, and that is Jude Bruin at center for Ed Westfall on the right side, J.P. Parisi on the left, and it's Jerry Hart and Dennis Potvin back. Face-off controlled by the Rangers again. Park takes it back at the Ranger line. Park slides it ahead for Beverly. Beverly up across the red line, shoots in across the Islander line, picked off by Gilbert, dumped on the play. Kept in by Rattel. Angle shot is way off. On the rebound, it's Park at the right point. Dumps it back behind the Islander net. Rattel chasing in the corner with Westfall. Westfall tries to clear, cannot, kept in by Beverly. Backhands it into the corner to Vickers. Pass put in front. Rattel knocked away. Vickers after it. Takes a check from Hart. He and Rattel come together. Puck still is in the corner. Vickers in front with Gilbert, but he could not get the stick on the bouncing puck. Could not get the stick down, and the Islanders moving up ice. Here's Bruin overskating at center. Puck stolen by Rattel. He's up to the out of the line, moving in on Hart at top. The puck goes into the drive, but is blocked by Potvin going down to his knee. Picked off by Bruin. Shoots it ahead to the right wing. Westfall with Parisi cutting on the left. Westfall fires in. Right side of Jockman. Played by Parisi. Angle drive off the mark. Kept alive by Westfall. Flips over to Potvin. The angle, a shot goes wide with Parisi screening Jockman. He takes a hard check from Jockman. Parisi traces it down to the corner now. He's shoved by Park. Now Park hit by Bruin, who steals. He throws to the side of the net to Westfall. In front, Parisi knocked away from him. Picked off by Rattel. Loses on a stick check. Beverly has behind the net. He loses to Bruin. Hard contact between Bruin and Beverly back behind the Ranger goal. Puck sent to the corner now. It is taken by Gilbert. Loses to Parisi. Out to the point. Potvin on the screen. A shot. Glove save made. And covered up by Jockman. A lot of pushing and shoving in front of the net once again with Beverly and Westfall and Bruin getting involved. The Islanders throwing a pretty fair attack on Ed Jockman here at the start. We are a minute 40 in to period number one, no score, and a face-off coming up right side of the Ranger net.
Eddie Jockman talking with Wally Harris now. He thought he was interfered by Druin. Pushed Druin out. He was off balance. A shot almost coming from the point, catching Jockman unaware. Eddie with a couple of good saves. Druin and Parisi, Westfall doing a lot of digging, keeping the Rangers pinned in their end.
Now both clubs make line changes. Rangers go with Walter Kachuk at center for Derek Sanderson and Bill Fairburn. Bob Bourne steps out with Clark Gillies on the left, Billy Harris right. Off the face, it is controlled by the Rangers. Greshner whips it around the boards for Sanderson. Stick checked away by Marshall. Puck loose at the far side. Taken back by Sanderson, who moves behind the Ranger net. Sanderson, watched by the forechecking Bourne, starts up with a flip from the rock. Back the other way now, Greshner. He moves to center, eludes the check of Lewis, and then throws it away. Picked off by Harris at the end of the line. He's bundled up by Kachuk. Kachuk stick checks it onto the stick of Greshner, but as Greshner throws in, Fairburn ahead of the play and offside, and they'll bring it back. Both clubs have come out flying, both clubs digging hard, a lot of body contact here in the early moments. We are scoreless with 2:05 gone by. Kachuk will go on this face-off against Bourne. They face outside the New York Islander blue line. It is Glenn Resch defending to our right, and Ed Jockman to our left. Rangers skate left to right, and the Islanders right to left. Lewis controls the face for the Islanders. Cross ice to Marshall. He's in heavy traffic. Winds it around the boards for Lewis. Tries to clear out. He cannot. Kachuk keeps in. Beats Sanderson in the slot. A shot stick to side by Resch. On the rebound, Fairburn comes together with Gillies in the corner. Kachuk comes over to work it free. Throws it out to the point. Marv cannot get to it. It's knocked aside by Harris. Now Harris moves it out of the Islander zone. He's tied up there. Good checking by this Kachuk line now. Back pass for Marshall. In Islander ice ahead for Lewis. Shoots it ahead to center out of Bourne. Bourne up to the Ranger line. Throws it in. soft shot sticked aside by Chalkerman and cleared out. Hard check by Gillies on Sanderson as Fairburn cuts in, takes the lead from Kachuk, but he's ahead of the play and offside, so they'll bring it back. Face-off coming up at center. Sal?
Billy Harris on the last Islander rush, trying to get behind the defense, and Greshner trying to push him offside on a play. Waller Kachuk checking back on the play, picking up the loose puck, and Waller looks like his old self, playing with those skates. He's had a lot of opportunities where he's poke-checked the puck away from him. One opportunity from Billy Harris, still able to maneuver the puck with his skates.
On the face-off, Rangers control once again. Park takes, holds it away from the forechecking Bourne. Ahead now to center to Fairburn. A lead for Sanderson as he straddled the Islander line. He takes a check from Hart and goes flying, and Potvin comes up with the puck. Circles deep in his own end. Carms off the board. Park tries to keep in, cannot. It's batted all the way down by Gillies across the Ranger goal line. Backboard Beverly, a whistle for icing, and they'll bring it back. Would you like to know how to pay for something special when you haven't got the cash? Well, just apply for command credit at Manufacturers Hanover. Now, with it, you have a pool of money you can borrow from for emergencies or those buys of a lifetime simply by writing a personal check. Command credit from Manufacturers Hanover. It all adds up to a convenient way to pay for things when you haven't got the cash. Manufacturers Hanover. It's banking the way you want it to be. Member FDIC, equal opportunity lender. On the face-off, deep and out of their ice, sent back behind the out of the goal line. Hart there for the Islanders. Comes off the boards, intended for Howard, but it's off the mark, and it carries all the way down across the Ranger blue line. Park back for it. Watched by the forechecking St. Laurent, tosses it ahead. Now Stemkowski wheeling at center, shoots in. It's deflected off to the right of Resch. Bounds behind him now. Makes the stick stop for Hart, who throws it on the near boards for Howard. Howard out of the zone, moving on Park at center. Shoots it ahead, stopped by the skates of Park. Kicked away by St. Laurent. Back past Nystrom. Was intercepted by Stemkowski. Throws it the other way, but unintentionally throws it deep in his own territory. Stemkowski comes over, looking to pin. Puck is pushed along the boards, and now the puck is pinned in, and play is called. Rangers almost got caught because Middleton fell down. The pass from Stemkowski intended for Middleton, and it ends up a frozen puck deep in Ranger ice, making for a face-off to the right side of Chalkerman.
Both teams, the defensemen making the plays in the offensive zone. The Islanders did it a couple of times. Brad Park and Greshner trying it. This time, Jerry Hart keeping the puck in the Ranger end, intercepting that Stemkowski pass.
Now the face between Stemkowski and St. Laurent. To the left of Chalkerman, comes to the point. Lewis, a slap knocked aside by the stick of Beverly. Beverly chases along with Nystrom. Hard check issued by Nystrom on Beverly, who rolls it around on the near side. Now Park fires ahead, and here's Stemkowski on the rush to center. Up across the out of the line. He's hauled down, and a penalty upcoming. Stemkowski hauled down, and Wally Harris with the call. It is a trip against the Islanders.
What a move by Peter Stemkowski, taking the breakout pass from Middleton between the Ranger blue line and the center red line. Caught Marshall committing himself. He was breaking for the hole between Marshall and Lewis. Marshall tried to cover up the hole. Stemkowski broke outside, and had not Marshall brought him down, Stemmer would have been in on the breakaway.
A trip on Bert Marshall, 4:04, and the Rangers have the man advantage right here. They go with Bertel at center, Vickers left, Fairburn right, Park and Gilbert are back. Elsewhere in the National Hockey League playoffs, still second period, Boston leading Chicago 3-0. Two of the goals scored within 9 seconds of the second period by Carol Vadnais and Andre Savard. And St. Louis leading Pittsburgh 2-0. Later on, Toronto will play the Kings in L.A. Here's the face. Out of the ice. Controlled by the Rangers. Park at the left point. Ahead it goes to the far side for Vickers. Back pass intended for Gilbert. Deflects away. Recovered by Fairburn. Moves to the near corner. Now Fairburn circles. Back to the right point. Gilbert. He shoots. It goes wide. Bounce off the board. Kept in by Park. Then knocked aside. And Westmore shoots to center. Has a 2-on-1 with Henning. Henning in across the Ranger line. Henning shoots. Blocked. Rebound. Henning in front. Doubled up by Chalkerman and picked off by Gilbert. Now here come the Rangers to center. A pass for Rattel. He's to the out of the line. Takes a hard check from Potvin, breaking up the play very well, and Henning comes up with a loose puck again, moves to center. He is checked along the board by Park, who stops it, and Fairburn takes it away. Now Fairburn moving along the far side. He is met by Henning. Henning all over Fairburn. They battle. Now it is picked off by Park. Park Staccanos to center. Right wing feed Gilbert. Ahead for Rattel ahead of the play, offside, and they'll bring it back. A minute 10 remaining on that Islander penalty to Bert Marshall. We have no score, first period, and no question, Sal. Playoff hockey at its very best right here. And we're only 5 minutes in, but a lot of excitement. Both clubs are hitting. Both clubs are skating.
And one lucky break, Marv. Henning, as Westfall iced the puck deflecting off referee or linesman Leon Stickle, setting up that Islander 2-on-1 breakaway. Eddie, Rod Gilbert making the save, a great save on the shot by Henning.
On the face-off outside the out of the line, it comes to center. Gilbert stick handles with it, cuts left on Westfall, leaves for Park, a return for Gilbert. Rangers try to get this power play going. Now Gilbert goes in with a slap. That is blocked, and it bounces out of the zone off the skate of Park and taken at center by Park. 50 seconds remaining on that Bert Marshall penalty. Here's Gilbert up to the red line. A hit Fairburn, crosses the out of the blue line, breaks wide, sends in front, and it almost beat Glenn Resch. It was actually a pass, and Resch was able to pick it off out of the air with Rattel waving his stick in front.
And what a tough play that was for Resch. That puck in the air going towards his feet, and he didn't know whether to reach down or not. Rattel waving his stick. If he reached down too soon and Rattel does deflect it, it's bye-bye. It'll go over his shoulder.
Now Rattel will go against Westfall, facing left side of the Islander net. 42 seconds on the penalty. On the face, Henning takes and quickly clears all the way down ice. In one motion, he snaps it to the right side of Jockman, and he stops it now for Gilbert. Half minute remaining on that penalty. Gilbert wheels it around the boards for Fairburn. Fairburn met by the check of Hart, loses control at the Ranger line. Rattel recovers, goes cross ice, a wild pass. Park has to take and back skate away from Henning. Islanders doing a good job heading the Rangers in. Now here's Park up to center. A lead for Rattel, can't handle it, slides off his stick. Hart chases it down, moves back behind the out of the net, whips it around the boards. Fairburn keeps it at the near side. Fairburn is turned around by Henning, looks to get it out. Cannot. Gilbert comes over to work free. Out it goes to Rattel. There's a wide open shot. The snap shooting step to Park. He shoots. It is deflected and falls short, clamped down by the goaltender, Resch. And he holds on. Rattel had the open shot, but got the pass to his left to Park. And Park's shot was a good one, but someone got a piece of it and slowed it down, allowing for the cover-up by Resch. And that does it for the Bert Marshall penalty.
It was Dennis Potvin who got the piece of the shot by Brad Park, deflected it enough where Steve Vickers, who was making his effort or a run in front of Resch in order to screen him out on the original shot, went right past the puck. Puck just dribbling to Glenn Resch.
Now Stemkowski steps on with Irvin on the left, Middleton right. Marat and Greshner are back on the face-off. St. Laurent for the Islanders shoots it out of the zone. Played by Greshner at center. Flicks it back to the out of the line, and then Dave Lewis fires it out to the Ranger line. Marat takes there. A lead off the ice intended for Stemkowski. Intercepted by the Islanders. Now Lewis starts up on the near boards. Lewis to center. Throws it ahead, but it's broken up by Stemkowski. Makes the turn. Leads Middleton. Broken up nicely by Howard. Slapping it back out to center ice. Marat takes there and guns in, but Stemkowski and Middleton both ahead of the play and offside. Let's break for this message from Alka-Seltzer.
Alka-Seltzer brings you a message from the old one, too.
Well, your first flat in 15 years. So you're holding up traffic for miles. And your wife is waiting with your favorite dinner, burnt lasagna. We'll be right there with the old one, too. Alka-Seltzer, let's get out of here!
For aches and pains with upset stomach, try Alka-Seltzer with specially buffered aspirin plus antacids. Use only as directed. It gives the old one, too, the old one, too.
Off the face, puck loose along the boards, then a slap by Middleton as he works it free, goes wide on a deflection. It rolls around. Nystrom and Irvin come together at the far side, doing some pretty good bumping as the puck is cleared out of the zone. Middleton takes it center, ahead for Greshner. Greshner rushing to the out of the line. A drop for Irvin, knocked away by St. Laurent, and he shoots it out to center. Howard, a hard check on Middleton in front of the out of the bench. But as that puck crosses the out of the line, Rangers ahead of the play and offside, and they'll bring it back. Face-off now outside the Islander blue line. This afternoon, as you heard here on WNEW, the Mets got off well behind Tom Seaver, who allowed only 6 hits. The Mets beat the Phillies 2-1. Dave Kingman hit a home run, and the Mets open up with a victory. The Yankees beaten by the Indians in Cleveland 5-3 this afternoon. A successful managerial debut for Frank Robinson, who also, having a flair for the dramatic, hit a home run in his first at-bat as a designated hitter. We gave the NHL playoff scores, the other action a moment ago. In the NBA, the Knicks playing at Houston. They're underway a couple of minutes ago, and Detroit at Seattle later start. The Nets off in the ABA. The one playoff game, Memphis at Kentucky. On the face-off at center, Kachuk slides it ahead. Marshall controls. Ahead it goes now to Harris. Breaks in across the Ranger line. Dumps in left side of Jockman. Harris with a hard check on Park, but Park gets to the puck. Now Park cuts to his right. We're scoreless first period, 12.5 remaining. Park up to center. A lead for Kachuk, who backhands it in. A roller right side of Resch. Sprays out to stop it. Steers behind the net for Harris. Harris starts up on the near side. Loses to Fairburn on a stick check. Throws it in front. Kachuk cannot get to it. Gillies does and starts up. 3-man rush. 3 Rangers back. A flip on the right for Bourne. Back pass. Harris shot. Goes wide. Intended deflection by Gillies was off the mark, and then it's pinned in the corner. Gillies and Kachuk holding it in, and play is called. So face-off now, deep in Ranger ice.
No Ranger winger going back on the play, and Gillies left all alone on that shot from the point. Jockman, I think, may have gotten just a little piece of it that deflected in the corner. Had that shot been a little lower, a lot of trouble for the Rangers. The Fetzer makes a play in the corner, leaving that side of the ice open, and Billy Fairburn, who was the right winger, was out covering the point, had to drift back to help out in front of that net.
Bruin and Rattel on the face now, controlled by Greshner, circling at the near side, hit by Parisi, but throws it ahead. Vickers cutting it on the left wing, over skates, and Westfall able to bat it back out of the zone. Played at center now by Gilbert. Gilbert circles, behind the back, Rattel crosses the out of the line, returns to Gilbert at the right point, looks to go cross ice, but it's broken up by Bruin. Backboard at center is Marat. Marat for the Rangers goes cross ice to Gilbert. Gilbert down the center slot. He's up to the out of the line with a shot that is deflected wide left side of Resch. Hart backboard in the corner, twists it around the boards. It is taken by Westfall at the far side. Checked by Rattel as he sends to center to Druin. A lead on the left wing. Parisi across the Ranger line. Checked hard by Greshner. Loses control. The puck loose in the corner now. Greshner is there along with Parisi. Parisi looks to set up. Centering attempt knocked away by the stick of Jockman. And it comes to Gilbert at the near side. Ranger ice. Shoots it out of the zone, but it's played at center by Dennis Potvin of the Islanders. Ahead now, Parisi, taken out of the play by Marat, but Parisi keeps going, catches up with him in the corner, centering feed, intercepted by Gilbert, and he starts up. Here's Gilbert to center, feet on the right for Vickers on the off wing, goes in with a slap that is blocked by Hart. It pumps high in the air, rolls loose in the slot, still loose, Potvin dumped by Marat, and Hart comes up with the puck. Ahead to the left wing, Parisi shoots it out to center, intercepted by Greshner. Greshner around Druin as both clubs change on the go. Here's Greshner on the rush to the out of the line, past Hart, tries to penetrate through, turned around on the play by Potvin, and the puck cleared to the near side. Hart checked hard in the corner by Butler as he clears all the way down. It's across the Ranger blue line. Howard and Marat come together. They get to it at the same time, deflecting off their stick and to the crowd. So play is called.
Couple of good checks, first by Gilles Marat and Dennis Potvin, and Butler in the corner on Hart. And the one on Potvin was a situation where the puck was up in the air as if you're holding 2 balls and throw one up in the air. As he's looking at that when you throw another ball or you hit the man, and that's exactly what happened to Potvin. Example, Billy Fairburn not covering up in front. The last Islander rush, Rod Gilbert taking the man in front, as Fairburn did not.
On the face, Bert Marshall, a slap from the point is stopped by the pads of Jockman. Comes to the corner. Butler is really ripped by St. Laurent as the Rangers clear it out of the zone. Played at center by Howard. Checked by Stankowski ahead Nystrom as he throws it in. Left side of Jockman. Chased down by Beverly. He's hit by Nystrom. Beverly cuts to the near side. And Beverly looks to clear out. Cannot get it by Howard. His drive is wide on a deflection. And now the puck picked up behind the net by Park. Park starting up. Park ahead now for Beverly. Beverly is up to center. A lead for Stankowski. And across the out of the line, but a whistle for an offside. Things are getting very testy out there now. Sal, just a moment ago, Nystrom and Irvin collided, landed on each other at center ice. Neither would let the other get up. And then finally, when Irvin was able to pull away, took a couple of shoves from Nystrom.
Nystrom throwing a little glove hand on Irvin's face.
Stankowski on the face with St. Laurent, controlled by the Islanders in their own end. Lewis on the left defense starts up. He carries to center, shoots it ahead on the right wing, batted the other way by Irvin, who dumps in. Left side of the Islander net, picked off by Bert Marshall, throws to center ice now to St. Laurent. He's watched by Park. St. Laurent spins away back to his blue line and then sends out the right defense for Marshall. Back to St. Laurent, off his stick, rolls to Park at the Ranger line, and he sends ahead. Now the Rangers move up. Stankowski to the red line, shoots in, left side of Glenn Resch, chased down in the corner by Lewis, hit hard by Butler, and we have a penalty upcoming. Penalty upcoming against the Rangers. Nystrom starts up. The extra forward on. Here's a pass for Marshall. Marshall cuts in, but we get a whistle with an outbreak in the corner. Howard and Irvin are going at each other in the corner. Now Nystrom comes flying over, and let's see what is occurring in the corner. We're completely screened out. I saw Irvin kind of shove Howard away, and that's the last I saw of both as they both hit the ice to our right. And Dave Lewis and Jerry Butler, who were the The guys who started it all are now doing some pushing and shoving with the referee, Wally Harris, trying to separate them.
The last I saw before they went down, Marv, was Teddy Irvin pushing Howard down and getting on top of him, and we can't see any more after that. Howard's helmet's off, and I saw Irvin grab for Howard's head as he was going down, and I think that's what he was looking for, to take off Howard's helmet.
Take off his head, Sam?
You know, it's tough standing on a table, Marv.
From what we saw, it did not appear that any hard punches were landed as they ended up wrestling down to the ice.
I think we're going to see Irvin Howard go in, and probably Butler, who was going to draw that original penalty.
The Boston Bruins now lead the Chicago Blackhawks 6-0 in the second period. Bruins 6, Blackhawks nothing up at the Boston Garden.
Well, Blackhawks go into the playoffs the same way they played the year, Marv. They had a disappointing year. They've had a lot of injuries also, with Bill White, Phil Russell out for a while, White out about 3/4 of the season, and just not the team that they were.
Dennis Hollis played hurt, missed quite a few games down the stretch. St. Louis over Pittsburgh 2-0 in the second period. The Penguins, who have been nearly invincible at home, are trailing the Blues in the second at home.
Well, I got a kick out of that, what Carl Martin just said, New York penalties. It just struck me funny when he said it. We have 2 New York teams. Getting back to St. Louis.
I guess you had to be there. Here are the penalties being handed out on the Islanders. Gary Howard, 5 minutes for fighting. Jerry Butler, 2 minutes for elbowing. And Ted Irvin gets a 5 for fighting, all at 10:48. So Irvin and Howard will be unavailable for the next 5 minutes. Those 2 penalties will not affect player strength on ice, but Jerry Butler's elbowing penalty will, and so the Islanders have the man advantage for 2 minutes. Time of the penalty, 10:48. Let's pause right here for station identification.
This is WNEW in New York. Now, we broadcast these games for your enjoyment, and also my show, The Gene Clavin Show, from 5:30 to 10. Marv, if you need help, I'm here.
Okay, Gene, play back in off the face-off. Rangers control of their own end. Beverly takes and shoots it all the way down. Fairburn after it in the corner along with Dennis Potvin. They come together. Now Potvin cuts back behind his net, trickles it over to brother John. Back the other way to Dennis. Standing back behind the Islander net. Now he starts up. The Islanders have the man advantage. We're scoreless first period. 8:45 remaining. Bourne to center. Back pass for Potvin. Has to start it all over again. This is Dennis handling it at center. Now cross ice to John Potvin. And he dumps it in. Left side of Jockman. And he steers it behind the net. Park is there. Checked by Bourne. Park winds it around for Fairburn. Looks to clear, and he does. Throws it past Dennis Potvin all the way down. John Potvin back for it. Walter Kachuk, 4 checks. Now John holds up back behind the net and regroups the power play with 1:10 remaining on the Ranger penalty to Jerry Butler. John Potvin to center. Shoots in. Left side of Jockman. Plays it off the boards. Then whips it around to the far side. Bourne able to keep in. Out to the point. It goes to John Potvin. Back to Bourne at the far side. His slap. Stick save. Made by Jockman and cleared by Park. Stopped by the goaltender Resch to the left of the net. Islanders change on the fly. Westfall steps on. Dennis Potvin's pass stolen at center by Kachuk. Back pass for Beverly up the Ranger line. Cross ice now. Park. 40 seconds remaining on the penalty. A hit Fairburn at center. Over to Kachuk from the out of the line. His slap deflects wide off the stick of John Potvin. Resch comes out to clear it on the boards, but Kachuk scurries back for it. Throws it out to center to Park. Rangers doing a good job killing off this penalty. Now Park starts up. Cuts back the other way, away from Bruin. Rolls cross ice to Marat. Deep in his own end. Marat shoots it out, but it's intercepted by Parisi. Knocked away by Fairburn. Gets it over to Kachuk. Back it goes to Marat. Cross ice Park. Rangers doing the job, killing the clock. Now Park cuts back the other way. 10 seconds on the penalty. Now the crowd roaring as Park spins at center. Goes to the Ranger line. Now flips it over to Fairburn. Fairburn circles at center. Back pass to Park. That will do it for the penalty. Standing ovation for the Rangers. Kachuk starts up as Butler coming in. Here's Kachuk trying to lead from it, but the pass off the mark all the way down. Across the goal line of the Islanders. Touch made, and we got a whistle for icing. Near breakaway by Jerry Butler, but he was not spotted when he cut toward that Islander blue line. But now an ovation for this penalty-killing effort by the New York Rangers.
Islanders did a great job of killing a penalty against the Rangers, but nowhere near that one. The only shot, Bobby Bourne, from way across the ice against the far boards, taking a shot from the angle that Jockman handled, and then Kachuk Fairburn, Park, and Marat killing off about 50 seconds with the Islanders not even seeing the puck.
Off the face, shot by St. Laurent, deflects behind the mark. Jockman clears it around the boardsman. Middleton shoots it out to center. Flanked down at center by Bert Marshall of the Islanders. Shoots in. Back behind Jockman. Makes the stick stop and leaves it for Marat. Marat carries off the board. Out of the stick of Middleton. Shoots it to the left wing. Polis, who makes his first appearance of the night. Polis' pass intercepted by Marshall. Ahead for Nystrom. He's checked down the play by Marat. Nystrom fights his way to the Ranger line. Loses control. And Sanderson takes back passes to Kreshner. He's hit by McMillan. And it's retrieved by Marshall. Chopped that by Marat as he shoots in. Left side of Jockman. Sanderson back forward. Takes a check for Nystrom. Loses control. McMillan goes in with a backhander and a stop by Sanderson. Picked off by Polis. Two-man rush for the Rangers. Two out of his back. Polis leads it ahead for Middleton. But it's intercepted by Lewis of the Islanders, who shoots it out of the zone. Here's Billy McMillan at center. Throwing in. Left side of the net by Jockman. Holds it away from Nystrom. Sweeps it around to the near side. Middleton there. Checked by St. Laurent. Looks to clear out. Cannot. Kept in by McMillan. McMillan banks it off the boards for Nystrom. Nystrom cuts to the corner. Nystrom centers. Throw in there. Taken now by Lewis at the point. His shot is close at the midsection by Jockman. And he moves on. Jockman juggles. And some words now between Andre St. Laurent and Ron Kreshner. The two linesmen, Leon Stickerman and Bob Hodges, immediately intervene, and nothing serious develops. We're going to face off now to the right side of the Ranger net. 5:52. Remaining first period, no score. It has been a superb first period of playoff hockey.
Very exciting game. Close checking involved. The Rangers again getting in trouble. And 5 minutes for this. Polis is standing stationary on the left board. Sanderson unable to work the puck against him as the Islander defense just moves up. Sanderson had to make a play in the middle. Almost got trapped. Had to come back and make a good save himself. And then Middleton, 3 Rangers, 1 Islander around, gave the puck away.
On the face-off, deep in Ranger ice, Park control, spins back behind us. Net trailed by Truan, throws it ahead. Here's Bertel out of the zone. Vickers left, Gilbert right. A lead for Gilbert, knocked away. Rod keeps it alive. On a back pass, he's dunked on the play. Penalty upcoming. Penalty against the Islanders. A hook call on J.P. Parisi. And so the Rangers will have the man advantage.
Gilbert trying to break through, and Parisi did not know what Gilbert was going to do. Gilbert made the drop pass, and had Parisi would have known that, he would not have pulled him down. A pass that eventually ended on the stick of an Islander and came out of the zone. That's a bad play, going in the middle like that, making a drop pass. That's what he did, but Rangers lucked out on the play as Parisi picked up the penalty.
The time of the hook, 14:21. Parisi out for 2. Rangers have the man advantage. Rattel up front with Vickers and it all the way down. Jockman sprays out 10 feet to his left to stop it and leaves it down for Gilbert. Gilbert looks to start out on the power play.
And you make the ring should get better gas mileage.
Throws it on the stick of Westphal and center, but it's swept aside by Fairburn, and clears back front the out of the line.
You save yourself time, too, by minimizing the changing of oil.
Henning gets to the front. Islanders doing a good job as Henning takes that clears all the way down. Right side of Jockman. A minute 20 remaining on that J.P. Parisi penalty. Rangers have the man advantage. We are still in first period. 5 minutes remaining.
Find out for yourself.
All about now Park up to center. Feet on the left for Vickers. Across the end of the line. A hit for Rattel. Knocked away. Back past Park. Park is followed up. Gets to the head for Gilbert. Goes into the dance. Vickers stuck. And a beauty by Gresh. He was able to hold on between the pads. And we're going to face off to the right side of the Islander net. I say Gresh.
You did, Bob. Great anticipation by Gresh on the play. He knew Gilbert. Using anticipation, Gilbert shooting. He knew Vickers was to his right. He went with the stack pass to take the deflection by Vickers. Beautiful anticipation by Resch to make that save.
All right, face off to the right side of Glenn Resch. It is controlled by Vickers at the far corner. Vickers out to the far. Park stick handles. Ahead it goes now to Vickers. Back to Gilbert at the point. Takes the shot. Slides it over to Fairburn at the near corner. Fairburn has checked down the plays. Fairburn is tied up. Lewis comes over to work it free. Pushes it forward. Scoring in the first post. Fairburn loses control and Resch able to clamp the glove down and hold on at the side of the net. 4:17 left in the third. Score 48 seconds remaining on that Islander penalty to Parisi. At the end of 1 in Houston. In game 1 of this, a score of 4 27. Houston Rockets 24. 1 quarter complete. Knicks 27. Rockets 24. Face-off move left side of Glenn Resch. Return. Fairmont. Vickers up front. Gilbert and Clark on the back line. Westphal Revere against Rattel on this face-off. Buck loose, sent to the left of Resch, picked off by Marshall, whips it around the boards. Clark can't keep in, knocked aside. Westphal takes it center, one man back at Gilbert. Westphal across the range of line. Shot blocked by Gilbert, picked off by Rattel, and the Rangers move up. Now to Gilbert center. Gilbert up across the out of the line. Gilbert breaks for the far side. Gilbert cuts in, a pass for Rattel. Backhander is gobbled up by Resch, and he holds on. Rattel did not get the good shot off. A soft bouncer that could have been tricky. But Resch, hanging right in, was able to come up with a glove save, and we have 16 seconds remaining on that Parisi penalty.
Eddie Westphal doing a good job keeping the Rangers pinned. Again, Rod Gilbert had to make the save in the Ranger end, but this time Gilbert, working the puck into the crowd, was able to go to the opposite side and set up Rattel for that play. But as you said, Marv, the pass up in the air, Rattel swiping at it, and Resch had the angle completely.
The combination of Ed Westphal and Lorne Henning, one of the better penalty-killing units in the National Hockey League. They have done the job throughout the season. Westphal and Henning remain on the face-off. It's sent to the near boards. Henning is after it, clears it all the way down, slapping it past Clark and sending the length of the ice. That will do it for the penalty. Beverly back forward now as Parisi gets set to return. Here's Beverly to center. Parisi back, flip for Stemkowski on the right. Gets a check from St. Laurent up high as he crossed the out of the line. Then it's knocked away by Hart, who sends all the way down. Park back forward. 3.5 remaining. First period, no score. Beverly from Park ahead now. Butler at center. Butler then flips in. Right side of Resch. Resch dumps it behind the net for Nystrom. Those penalties on Howard and Butler have expired. Stemkowski takes away from Putman, feeds in close to Beverly, but it's knocked aside by Hart. Out of the stick of McMillan at center. McMillan checked off the puck by Greshner, but it's picked up by St. Laurent, across the Ranger line, breaks wide on Beverly. Beverly gives him no angle, but he feeds in front to McMillan. McMillan cannot get the shot off. McMillan is dumped down the play. Butler tries to pick up by Putman. His drive wide on the rebound. It's played by Irvin at the far side. Islanders had a great opportunity. A lead for Stemkowski across the out of the line. Back for Irvin. It's too deep, and it's picked off by Nystrom. And we go back the other way. Nystrom to center. Nystrom to the Ranger line. Feet on the left for McMillan. McMillan breaks wide. Feeds in front. Intended for Nystrom, but he's bumped off the play. And Beverly picks up the loose puck. Beverly rolls it out of the zone to Butler. Butler a lead now for Irvin. Irvin across the red line. Here's a slap wide left side of the out of the net. McMillan is up with it as the Rangers change on the move. McMillan shoots it out of the zone. Picked up at center by Bourne. Bourne with a head of steam up to the Ranger line. Checked off the play. Leads Gillies. He overskates. Not the other way. Here's Kachuk picking up the loose puck. Kachuk cuts to the out of the line with Sanderson. A drop for Sanderson. Angle drive. Glove save made down low by Resch. And he holds on with Greshner in front.
Resch.
Hey, Marv, that one.
Hey, how could you say that?
It's catchy.
Glenn Resch looks sharp here in the first period. Good save on that. A couple of earlier saves. And good back checking by Billy Fairburn. Starting that play. Coming back. Breaking Clark Gillies off the puck. Kachuk picking it up and the Rangers going in for that attempt.
2:13 left. First period, Rangers and Islanders scoreless. Off the face, Barada for left point with a shot that falls short. Gillies clears it out of the zone. Picked up by Harris, skating 1-on-2. Hip check off the puck by Marad, who breaks it up, throws to center, taken back by Harris. He's to the Ranger line, puts on the brakes, throws in front, intended for Bourne, broken up by Marad, and he dumps it out at center. Played by Marshall of the Islanders, ahead now for Harris, bumped hard by Marad, who's all over the ice. Kachuk picks up and sends in, left side of Resch. He clears to the far boards. Harris there, checked by Kachuk, sends to center, knocked away by the Rangers. Kachuk ends up back behind the out of the net. 1.5 minutes remaining in this first period. No score. Now Marshall rides it around for Lewis. Lewis looks to clear out of the zone, and he does. Sends to center ice. Kachuk is there once again. Kachuk spins back to his blue line, flips now to Greshner. Greshner cross ice to the left defense to Marat. Here's Marat up to center. Stick handles down to the out of the line. He cuts to the right side, bangs it off the board. Puck loose in the corner, and Lewis of the Islanders clears it back out to center ice. Kachuk slams it back in, but the Rangers ahead of the play and offside. 1 minute 12 remaining in this first period. Rangers and Islanders scoreless in game one of their best 2 of 3 opening round playoff series. Chicago leading Boston. Change that around. Boston leading Chicago 6-0 in the second period. Boston 6, Chicago 0. Second period, St. Louis 2, Pittsburgh 0 in the second, and Toronto and LA in a later start. At the faceoff, Islanders shoot all the way down. Beverly backboard behind his net. Bangs it off the boards. Gilbert cannot control. Rattel does. Moves to center with a minute remaining in the period. Here's Rattel now breaking in across the out of the line. Puts on the brakes. He's turned around by Hart. Hart worked free by Gilbert. Slides it to center and has to chase it down by himself. Now goes cross ice to Beverly. Beverly ahead to Vickers at the far side. Leads Rattel across the out of the line. Back past Gilbert. He shoots deflected in the crowd. Back behind the net off the stick of Parisi. And we're going to face off at the point of that first shot with 40 seconds remaining in the first period. Following this first period, Sal will be talking with Ranger injured defenseman Dale Rolfe, Westfall and Rattel on the face, midway between the Islander goal line and blue line. On the draw, Westfall controls. Westfall stick handles to center, loses on the poke check to Vickers. Over to Park. Park out of the line. A lead for Gilbert. He's ahead of the play.
Kelly with the puck. Kelly ahead for Arneson. Into the St. Louis zone. Shooting right on.
The Islander blue line. Rattel and Gilbert this season.
As we look back on it, Gilbert coming up with 90 points, 97 points, and Rattel at 91. And you can see when Rattel carries the puck, he's got Gilbert right behind him. That drop pass worked off with a not drop, but just short pass.
On the face now, Park shoots in across the Islander blue line. That is
26 goal pieces.
Intended for Parisi up center, but it carries after that across the Ranger goal line. Touched by Nick Beverly, and we get a whistle for icing. They bring it back with 17 seconds remaining in the first period. The face-off circle to the left side of the Islander goaltender Glenn Resch. Rangers stay with Rattel as the center for Gilbert and Vickers. Beverly and Park are back, and now Greshner steps on, replacing Beverly. So Park moves to the left defense, Greshner on the right side now. It'll be Westfall against Rattel. Linesman Leon Stickle leans in, drops it. It's confirmed by Gilbert. We'll get a whistle. Stickle saying Rattel take the gun.
Either that Marv or I think either he jumped the gun or Parisi's going over to talk to Harris right now, or Druin coming out quick. The face-off was perfect, right out to Gilbert.
On the face, same spot, comes to Gilbert. Back pass to the point, shot by Park. Up save made by Resch, and he holds on. Quick left by Resch, fighting off the screen of Vickers.
Steve using his weight in front of the net. He had the position, the shot to the glove side. Steve on the stick side couldn't put out his stick side. Sometimes they're worried about that stick.
On the face comes to Gilbert. Fans on the shot on the slot. Picked off by Drew, and he's up to center. Goes in with a slap jumping glove save made by Jochen, and then he twists it around the boards. Druin able to hold on at the buzzer. That's the end of the first period. A well-played first period of hockey. The score after one. The New York Rangers won. The New York Rangers nothing. And the New York Islanders nothing.
Alka-Seltzer brings you a message from the old one, too.
So you're in the car, fooling daredevil cherries at the wheel.
Just close your eyes. Try to forget those lumpy pancakes in your stomach.
We'll be right there with the 012.
For aches and pains with upset stomach, use Alka-Seltzer with specially buffered aspirin plus antacids. Use only as directed. It gives the old 1-2, the old 1-2.
In the first period, the Rangers outshot the Islanders by the score of 10-8. Penalties in the first. Marshall for tripping at 4:04. Irvin, Butler, and Howard all together. 5 minutes apiece for Irvin and Howard for fighting, and the 2-minute penalty for Butler, giving the Islanders the man advantage. They all came at 10:48. And then Parisi for a hook at 14:21. But we're scoreless at the end of one. Rangers 10 shots, Islanders 8. No score, one period complete. At the quarter in Houston, the Knicks leading the Houston Rockets 27-24, and then playoff opener of the best 2 out of 3 series. The Knicks will take on the Rockets here at Madison Square Garden Thursday night, and that will be our next play-by-play broadcast. Airtime Thursday night, Knicks and Houston from the Garden, starting with John Andres of the pregame at 10 minutes before 9. And at the game number 2, if there is a game 3, It will be played in Houston on Saturday afternoon, and you will hear it right here. Thursday afternoon, Met baseball from 3 as the Mets do the two-game set with the Philadelphia Phillies. Airtime at 10 minutes before 2. The Mets opening up with the 2-1 victory behind Tom Seaver at Shea this afternoon, beating the Phils 2-1, while the Yankees were beaten in Cleveland. The Indians 5 The Rangers and Islanders will go again at the Nassau Coliseum. Against the third game of this series, the two teams will face off for that decisive showdown in the Garden on Friday, again at 9:05. And you'll hear it on WNEW starting with the pregame show at 10 minutes before 9. Due to the playoff schedules of the Knicks and the Rangers, one performance of Ringling Brothers and Travis Circus will be preempted, and a second show may also be canceled. The 7:30 p.m. performance of the Circus this Thursday, April 10th, will be preempted by the Knicks Rocket game, and if the Ranger Islander series has to be decided by a third game at 7:30 p.m. Circus show on Friday, April 11th, will also be canceled. Tickets for preempted circus performances can be exchanged for future dates or refunded at the Garden service right now. The greatest show on earth at Madison Square Garden right through May the 26th. And keep in mind that you can reserve your circus tickets by phone using your MasterCard, the Bank of America, or American Express credit card. The number to call if you're interested in doing it that way, 212 area code 494 for circus reservation. MasterCard, Bank of America, or American Express credit cards. The number to call, area code 212-594-4900. Sal will be talking with Dale Ralph of the New York Rangers in just a moment. Right here, let's pause for this from Schaefer.
Now here's a word from the #1 beer in New York.
Hey, Schaefer is the one beer to have when you're having more than one.
New York is full of landmarks. The Battery, Washington Square, Shea Stadium. And over on Kent Avenue in Brooklyn, there's another landmark, the Schaefer Brewery. Since 1842, there's always been a Schaefer Brewery in New York. Because New York has always liked Schaefer's way of tasting first beer good, beer after beer, year after year. Schaefer's a beer born and brewed right here in New York. It's New York's #1 beer.
The F&M Schaefer Brewing Company, New York, New York. We're between periods 1 and 2 at Madison Square Garden. Rangers and Islanders meeting in game 1 of the best of 3 playoff series. Rangers and Islanders are scoreless at the end of 1. And let's go to Sal.
Thank you, Marv. And my guest in between the first and second period, Ranger defenseman Dale Ralph. Also on a pregame show, Dale. And everybody around here just watching you maneuver and come up those steps. I know there's only about 5 or 6 steps, but you have the crutches, an injury that I'm sure all these fans remember. One of the most serious ones that I've ever seen, looking from the stands down on the ice. And your foot was at a complete right angle from your leg, and we knew then, right at that moment, you had a broken ankle, and the expression on your face, I have to say that was the most painful injury you've ever received playing hockey.
Yes, it was, Sal. As far as describing the pain, it was, well, you can't describe it. It was just almost unbearable, and as far as the accident, it was a very freakish thing. I've never seen it before. I hope I never see it again. I don't know if I hit something on the ice. I would have to assume the ice gave, or I hit a crack in the ice. And I just hit the boards full speed, or pretty well full speed, and as I hit it, I felt the ankle go. I heard the snap, could feel it all through my body, and it was just one of those things. That's a terrible thing, but I think it could be avoided.
You fall into the, you many times, I know, have been skating, maybe not at full speed. That time you were really going full kilter. You had made the turn completely around the net from the left side of the ice, around behind the net, going up the right side of the ice, of course, as you were going into the offensive zone, but you were coming back out. And you've gone into the boards many times before, and I think you have a certain reaction that you would do when you're prepared for it, a certain way to go into the boards in a situation like that. I don't think you had the time to prepare for that one.
No, I didn't, Sal. It happened so quick. You know, usually you can feel yourself going and you can react a little bit, you know, to kind of break the fall a little bit, or as you hit the boards, you're coming back up. But this happened so quick. I hit the boards full force, and like I said before, the ankle snapped. I could feel it go. I heard it go, and when I finally got my senses more or less, when I was lying on the ice, I could see the foot was at one angle and the leg was at the complete opposite angle, and then I knew, well, actually I knew before it happened that it was a very serious thing.
Now, you yourself have had examinations again. What actually happened as far as that goes? What does the medical report write up to this moment?
Well, yesterday I had the cast taken off. The medical report is the break, like I broke the bone in my leg was broken also. It is not healed. Where the bone come through the ankle, it's not healed completely yet, so it'll just be a matter of time. And I'm getting a brace fitted. It's like a polio brace. You get an Oxford shoe, and you rivet the brace to the shoe so the ankle will not go either way, twist. It'll just be a matter of a month or 2 months or whatever until the ankle gets strong, if it's going to heal right, and the break in the leg heals right. Plus there was another crack in the other side of the bone, of the leg bone. It's just a combination of a lot of things and a lot of time, and I just hope, God willing, everything's fine.
And we certainly hope so. We hope to see you, Dale, skating again, that's for sure, next training camp. Dale, getting into the hockey game, Islanders and Rangers, that first period, I saw it as a couple of gambles that I noticed, a couple of the defensemen taking, a couple of the forwards even taking them. But Dale, yourself, I don't think, well, you may have played in the 2 out of 3 series, say in the American League. I know National Hockey League hasn't seen a 2 out of 3 series since the early 40s. Do you think this puts a greater amount of pressure on the players?
No, I don't think so. As far as pressure goes in the playoffs, speaking personally to myself, I just love playoffs. I've always seemed to play my best hockey in playoffs. I enjoy playoffs, whether it's the money or what, if we all love money, or the pride, the prestige or what, I don't know. But as far as pressure, I don't think there is that much pressure, you know, unless, I don't know, maybe I'm different. I talk to myself a lot, which maybe...
how you get rid of it, eh?
Yeah, right, I don't know.
What do you say?
I ask myself a lot of questions. You know, how about this guy, how come this guy's doing this to me? This guy's taking money out of my pocket, why? You know, and then it all, over the season, you know, you ask yourself a few questions, but during the playoffs, you really ask yourself a lot of questions, and why is this happening, and why, let's make this happen. I think if you really talk to yourself, there's no pressure.
I have to think about that one, you know. When I do it at the other pressure situations outside of ice, I have to think about that one. I'll talk to myself for a little bit. Dale, another thing, this series, Rangers, Islanders, my point of view, Islanders are a new club. 3rd year in the league, they made the playoffs. Rangers, the established club, and of course, getting a lot of flack from the fans in the past 9 years, no Stanley Cup, 9 straight years in the playoff. Do you think that is an advantage to the Islanders coming in here? Well, the Islanders lose, well, they're a new club. They expect it to lose. But if the Rangers should lose, a lot more can be said.
Well, that's very true. As far as losing to the Islanders, I don't think we will. But if they happen to beat us, it's a very good pat in the back for them. But like I said, I don't think they're going to beat us. And people expect a lot from us because we're an established club. We have the depth, we have the goaltending, we've got everything. So, but we never win that 7th game. So who knows?
Well, the 7th game, a 1-goal decision last year. It wasn't the finals, it was the semifinals, and that's such a fine line when you really get down, and when people say, well, you lost 4 out of 7, and I'm not saying this as an alibi, but when you go out on the ice and one team's going to win and one team's going to lose, and this business of choke, to me, you telling yourself to get rid of the pressure by, as you say, talking to yourself, I think the term choke is way out the window. When you have a game, you could, one particular instance, maybe you're not thinking about making a mistake while you're out there, that's for sure.
No, definitely not. These people that and it's a minority that says we're choking. I don't think you could really call them true fans or whatever. Whoever's saying it.
Well, I was referring to the general term choke, not only to the Rangers' point of view, but for any point of view, any player out on the ice. In a fast game such as hockey, you don't have the time to think of it.
That's true. You know, it's a very fast game. You're out there, you're doing your best, you want to win. You know, you think to yourself you have to win. And if you lose in the 7th game of a quarterfinal or a semifinal or the finals, I think you can walk out of any building in the world with your head high and say, I've did my best. You know, I always think as long as you can look in the mirror and talk to yourself and ask yourself, look at your family and yourself in the mirror and the public, as you're walking out of the rink, they say, way to go, or you played the rotten or whatever. It's up to themselves. But if you can walk out with your head held high, I think you've done a hell of a job.
Yeah, you're talking to yourself again. You use that term?
I'm a little excited tonight, too.
What do you see here in this series? We played one period, pretty tight checking period.
Yeah, it was kind of a nothing period. They're kind of feeling each other out, which, it's just a figure of speech. But I think you'll see the Rangers start to open up a little bit, put a little pressure on them, just see what these guys can take, in the playoff situation.
Dale, goaltending, to me, the biggest part of a short series. We always say that about a 7-game series. I'm sure you players think of it the same way. What do you see here?
Well, I see we have Eddie Jockman and Jill Villamere, Dunk Wilson. We have a very, very good goaltending system on our club. I think we've got the edge and experience and ability. Islanders are a young club. They're good skating. They forecheck well. They've got one good goaltender. The other guy, who knows?
I'm going to put you on a limb. Which one is the good one?
The fellow playing tonight. All right. In my opinion, which means nothing.
I just wanted to know. You said they had one good goaltender. I wanted your opinion on it.
Right. Well, this Smith, he gets decent long shots once in a while, but so do ours once in a while. So who knows?
Dale, Ralph, really we wish you the best of luck in recuperating from this terrible injury. And thanks for coming up. I mean, when we thank you for coming up, you really had a time getting up here.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Marvelous. All right, Sal, and for Dale Ralph, we have a Sony AM/FM Digimatic clock radio with push-button controls and automatic sleep timer. The Sony also has illuminated, easy-to-read clock numerals and a big 3-inch speaker. Not just a radio, it's a Sony. We'll be back with period number 2 right after this message.
Alka-Seltzer brings you a message from the old one, too.
So you're in the car. Daredevil carries at the wheel.
Just close your eyes. Try to forget those lumpy pancakes in your stomach. You'll be right there with the 012. Alka-Seltzer, let's get out of here!
For aches and pains with upset stomach, use Alka-Seltzer with specially buffered aspirin plus antacid. Use only as directed. It gives the old 1-2, the old 1-2.
Marv Albert with Sal Messina from Madison Square Garden in New York. As we get set for the start of play in the second period, Rangers and Islanders are 0-0. A halftime score now from Houston. The Rockets leading the Knicks 46-39. At the half, Rockets 46, Knicks 39.
Marv, have you ever been under a pressure situation? Dale Ralph came up with a tremendous statement. He talks to himself. I had great fun with Dale in between periods about that. Him talking to himself in pressure situations, or even after a game. He enjoys talking to himself.
I feel a great deal of pressure just being with you, Sal.
Beautiful. I led myself right into that.
You notice I'm constantly talking to myself. Here's the face-off. We're hitting right here in the second. Sal, just kidding. Sal's crying. Rattel up to center. Rattel around Hart, loses control, taken by Gilbert, shoots to the out of the line. Dennis Potvin takes, loses on a stick check, recovered by Gilbert. He's in across the out of the line. He cuts to the left side. He makes the turn. Cross ice intended for Park, broken up by Druin, but stick checked away. Hart takes, bangs it off the boards. At center, Beverly comes up with it for the Rangers and dumps it in. It's to the right side of the Islander net. Potvin is back forward, sends to Druin at center. Now Druin wheels, leads Westfall, but it's knocked away. Picked off by Chalkeman. Chalkeman clears to the far side. Taken by Parisi, dumps it in front. Jockman steers it to Beverly, and Beverly starts up. Beverly ahead now for Joubert at center with Rattel. Leads Rattel. It goes wide. Pretty exchange between Rattel and Joubert. Then the puck is pinned at the near corner. We get a whistle with the net behind Glenn Resch knocked off its hinges, and the linesman straightened it out, and a face-off upcoming now in Islander ice. It's Bush defending to our left, Jockman to our right. Rangers spin right to left in the second period, and the Islanders from left to right. Face-off upcoming with Stamkowski to go. Armstrong against St. Laurent. Both clubs make line changes now. Stemmer the center, Middleton on the right, Irvin left. Marat and Greshner are back. Here's the face sent to the near boards. Controlled by St. Laurent of the Islanders. Shoots it ahead, intended for Nystrom on the right wing. Batted the other way by Greshner to the stick of Irvin. Irvin across the out of the blue line. Loses control. Lewis shoots it out of the zone to Nystrom. A lead for St. Laurent just off the mark and carries all the way down across the goal line of the Rangers. Greshner back for it. Greshner in traffic, winds it past Howard to Irvin at the near side, tries to clear, cannot, kept in by Marshall, goes to the corner to St. Laurent, flips in front, but it's off the ice. Howard could not control, Middleton does. Ahead it goes to Stamkowski at center, drop for Middleton, and across the out of the line. He spun around, could not get the shot off, and Howard takes the loose puck. He's to center, he's up to the Ranger line. He goes in with a shot, save made off the left pads of Jockman, closing up the short side, and Greshner takes it back. Now Greshner out of the zone, a lead for Middleton is wide, left side of Rick at center, carries all the way down deep and out of the ice. Back for it is Marshall, sends behind the net to his defense partner Lewis, winds it around now for Nystrom, takes a check up high from Irvin. These two continue to go at each other, but Nystrom clears it out of the zone. St. Laurent at center, down to the Ranger line, fakes the slap on the run, beats the Nystrom. Nystrom cuts in, goes cross-ice off the boards to Lewis for the point of shot. It is stick aside by Jockman. Irvin up with it up the near side. Hard check by St. Laurent as he dumps it out at center to Stamkowski. He crosses the outer line. He cuts to the right side. He flips it in front, and it's knocked away by Nystrom. Here's Nystrom out of the zone with St. Laurent to his left. Nystrom up across the Ranger line. Back past St. Laurent. A shot wide. Rebound is kicked aside. A quick save by Jockman. Howard in front. Stopped by Jockman. Puck kept in by the Islanders. Potvin goes in and drives. It's stopped by Jockman. It looked to be in. Jockman able to make the save with his glove. It popped in the air, and it's cleared all the way down, and the hand is for Eddie Jockman. Now Howard up to center as the Rangers clear out. Pass on the right for Moore, knocked away, taken by Kachuk. Kachuk spinning back towards his blue line. Back pass through from the right. Sensational goaltending here in the second period by Ed Jockman. Now Kachuk spinning to the out of the line. Leads Sanderson. He could not control it. Slides away in front and covered up by Rich.
Dennis Potvin still doesn't believe that wasn't in. He thinks that went up and hit the mesh behind Jockman and bounced out. I'll tell you, Marv, so do I. I think it went in and came out again. Referee Wally Harris straddling the goal line, waved it off right away. The goal judge, a neutral official from Philadelphia, as are all the game officials here, did not turn on the light. Again, we're at an angle. That's just a thought. I thought I saw it catch the top part of the net. Maybe Jockman did get a glove on it.
I was about to give it the score call. I hesitated. It appeared to be in and out, but of course from this angle it is absolutely impossible. Potvin waited before he started to argue. Waited for the stoppage in play. Now face off and out of the ice. It's sent out of the zone. Chased down by Park across the Ranger blue line. Now Park spins back behind his net. Watched by the forechecking Gillies. Park ahead now for Kachuk. Back pass for Beverly. Beverly out of the zone. A lead on the right for Fairburn. Fairburn up to the Islander line. He's checked out of the play by Hart. Dumps it back behind the net. Potvin has there. He's spun around by Kachuk. Potvin loses as it's kicked away by Fairburn. Bourne after it behind the out of the net. Winds it around the boards for Harris, and he shoots it all the way down across the Ranger blue line, across the goal line. A chase between Gillies and Park. Gillies pushes Park off the puck, but Park able to make the touch. And we get a whistle for icing. They bring it back. Face-off coming up deep in Islander ice. Let's pause right here for Flaky Ted.
WNEW New York. My name is Ted Brown, a Ranger fan, and I'm on every afternoon at 4 p.m. Join me. We'll crease your blue line good.
WNEW, Metromedia Radio in New York, the home of the Knicks, the Rangers, the Giants, and the New York Mets. Face-off coming up left side of Resch. Nothing. Islanders and Rangers are scoreless. 16-19 remaining. Second period. Marv Albert with Sal Messina from Madison Square Garden in New York. Face-off left side of Resch, controlled by the Islanders. Moves back behind the net, takes a check from Sanderson, then whips it out of the zone, and it bangs off the boards at center, carries left side of Jocham, and Eddie comes out to clear it around the board. Played up the near side by Kachuk. Kachuk throws it out at center. Sanderson cannot get to it. Hart does for the Islanders. Pass on the right defense for Potvin. Surrounded by Rangers. Sanderson knocks it away, but Potvin takes back and then guns it in. It carries all the way down across the Ranger goal line. Beverly back, whips it around the boards for Fairburn. Fairburn starts out as Kachuk left. Three-man rush, three Islanders back. Fairburn across the Islanders line. Save made and covered up by Resch. Stopped it with the glove. And then he's able to pounce on the rebound to stop play.
Well, look at Kachuk trying to stay back, expecting a pass from Billy Fairburn. Fairburn, not seeing anybody coming in with him, took that shot, and Nick Beverly coming off the ice right below us. I think he lost an edge or something. He fell down as he cleared the puck up to Billy Fairburn on that last rush as the Rangers cleared their end on a play that he thought was icing. Nobody going in on goal as Fairburn's shot was not controlled by Resch.
On the face-off, Lewis controls for the Islanders, winds it around the boards. Backboard is Bruin, looks to clear Canuck. Rattel keeps in to the point Marat. His slap up high, stopped by Resch, fallen upon by Lewis, and he ends up sitting on the puck. And you hear the fan reaction. They look for a delay of game penalty, but Lewis was right there where the puck ended up on the rebound after the save from Resch and just sat down on it.
Two in a row off Resch, one from the angle, one from the point, bouncing right out in front.
Rattel and Westfall on this face-off. Loose at the circle, out to the point again to Marat. His shot blocked by Lewis, and it bounced to center. Chase for the puck, picked up by Bruin, goes in on Ron Harris with a drive, save and a beauty again. Made by Jocham, closing out that short side. Now here's Gilbert out of the zone for the Rangers. Feet on the left for Vickers, flies in across the end of the line, a drive, kick save made, rebound Rattel, shoots wide. Now Vickers keeps it alive, tries to throw in front, but it's knocked away. And here come the Islanders, led by Parisi to center, up across the Ranger line, cross-ice pass between the legs of Bruin, picked off by Vickers. Rangers fly back the other way, ahead Rattel to the Islander line. He cuts to the left side, he shoots it in front by Lewis, puck loose in the corner, and it's taken by Bruin of the Islanders. Spins back behind the net, and now starts up. Islanders go from left to right. Here's Bruin up to center, wheeling on Rattel. A pass for Westfall, knocked aside, ends up right side of Jocham. Gilbert chases it down, puts on the stick of Harris. Now Harris ahead for Rattel. Rattel out of the zone. A back pass for Gilbert. He drops it for Harris. Harris for the Rangers up to the out of the line. He cuts to his back. Loses control. Regains. Goes over the shot block. Loose in front. Bruin clears. Comes back to Harris. A shot wide. On the rebound. It carries around and out of the zone. Marat up with it. The Rangers playoff specialist Ron Harris making his presence felt right here on his first shift. Here's Rattel out of the line. Leads Irvin. Pass to the. Irvin chases it down. Centering feed. No one there. Kept it alive though at the right point by Greshner. Greshner with a high drive. Flip save by Resch, who holds on with Irvin in front of the net. And the Rangers putting intense pressure on goaltender Glenn Resch.
Unbelievable. Ron Harris on the bench throughout. Gets a chance to get on the ice because Nick Beverly has something wrong with his skate, and he almost set up two Ranger goals. Also, with a shot from about 40 feet out to the left of Resch, just missed the corner. The puck gets back the shot so hard, it carried him away and out of the Islander zone.
Rangers now go with Stemkowski as the center for Irvin and Butler. Park and Greshner are back. St. Laurent, Howard, and nice from Laurent. On the face, drive by Butler is wide. Flagged down by St. Laurent up the near side. He takes a check from Irvin. They combine to hold it against the boards, and play is stopped. Maybe your hands can tell you what to use on your hair. Spray a little of that hairspray that says it looks dry on one side of your hair and a little Vitalis Dry 3 on the other. Now feel with your hands. The Vitalis Dry 3 side feels practically dry. That other hairspray makes your hair feel wet, and when it does dry, it makes your hair feel stiff. The Vitalis Dry 3 side feels softer, not nearly as stiff. Vitalis Dry 3, the hairspray that feels as good as it looks. Face off now, deep in Islander ice. Stemkowski gets it out to the point, but it's intercepted by Nystrom. He's to center, feet on the left for Howard, broken up by the stick of Butler. Puck is still loose at center ice. Park after it along with Stemkowski. Stemkowski works it free. Stemkowski now makes the turn. He's to the out of the line. A lead in front of the net for Butler. Knocked away by Resch as Butler is sent flying into the goalpost by Dennis Potvin. Islanders look to clear, and they do. Park shoots it back in. Butler ahead of the play. And they'll bring it out for a face-off on that offside call.
And Glenn Resch just banged his stick on the ice. He had trouble controlling that one, and Butler almost poked in a rebound. He's been having his problems making the good saves, but the puck is just dropping right out in front of the net, and that could hurt.
On the face-off, Park at center, flips to the right now for Greshner, stick handles past Gillies, stops at the circle to the left of Resch, pokes it in front, but it's intercepted by Dennis Potvin. Ahead St. Laurent, right wing feed for Nystrom, in across the Ranger line, breaking wide. Here's the drive, save made off the pass of Jockman, and he clears it out of the zone. Park in a trace with Butler. Butler beats him to it up. Stankowski crossed the out of the line over to Butler. A shot is a save, but a whistle. Offside call against the Rangers. Rangers really flying on that sequence. Park could not get on track, and he was beaten to the puck, although ahead of the play by both Stankowski and Butler. Face-off coming up now outside the Islander blue line. It has been a tremendous hockey game.
And Eddie Jockman with some great saves on that one. So cool after he made the save. He handled it with both Nystrom and St. Laurent coming right in on him, threw the puck up, sent the Rangers in on that opportunity.
13-12 left, second period, no score. On the face-off, Marat at center shoots in. It's to the right side of Glenn Resch. Picked off by Kachuk. Kachuk looks to set up, knocked away. Sanderson after it, digging. Puck is still loose. Now it is pinned back behind the net, and the play is called. We'll get a face-off again on Islander ice. The Bruins now lead the Blackhawks in the third period by the score of 8-1. So the Bruins really going to town up at the Boston Garden. They lead Chicago 8-1 in the third. And Pittsburgh has come back. They are tied with St. Louis in the third at 3-3. Toronto and LA will start later. On the face-off, Islanders control. Gillies taps it out of the zone. Played at center by Harris. Loses control. Ralph Stewart on for the first time. Knocks it aside, but Ron Harris recovers and shoots in. Right side of the Islander net. Billy Harris there for the Islanders. Winds it around for Lewis. Fires one out to center for Stewart. One man back, Marat. Stewart to the Ranger line. Goes on the shot, blocked by Marat. It's still loose. Stewart is dumped by Marat. Puck picked up by Gillies. Looks to set up, but his pass intercepted by Sanderson. Ahead Kachuk with Fairburn right, east of the Islander blue line. Now back pass for Fairburn. Sticked away by Gillies. Fairburn hangs in. Loses control as he takes a check from Stewart, and Lewis comes up with it. Lewis up to center. Lewis then throws one in a bouncer that is one hop by Jockman to the left side. Eddie has been very sharp. Leaves for Kachuk, and Kachuk spins out of the zone. Right wing feed, Fairburn. Fairburn to center. Fairburn digging across the out of the line. Fairburn is tied up by Lewis. Keeps going center. Is knocked away by the out of the defense, and then Gillies clears it all the way down across the Ranger blue line. Marat back for it, makes the touch, and we got the whistle for icing. No score, 11:53 remaining second period.
We're the old one, too. I get you in the head, and I get you in the stomach. So enjoy your party. Eat, drink, dance until dawn. So you'll be late for work. We'll see you in the morning.
With the old one, too.
Alka-Seltzer, let's get out of here.
For aches and pains with upset stomach, try Alka-Seltzer with specially buffered aspirin plus antacids. Use only as directed. It gives the old 1-2, the old 1-2.
Rattello's on now with Vickers and Gilbert. Park and Beverly are back. Westfall and Rattel on the face. Played by Park at the point. His shot, score! Well, they went 31 minutes, 49 seconds. And the Rangers have jumped in front by the score of 1-0. Steve Vickers was captain front, and we'll have to wait and see if he got a piece of it, as has been the case many, many times this season.
And he or Dennis Potvin tying up Vickers to the right of Resch, and deflected off one of those two and went in. At the winning of the face-off by Rattel, Gilbert hesitated. It looked like he was going to pick up the puck. Finally, he just made way for Park to take the shot.
Face-off at center. The Rangers have scored that all-important first goal. We shall see how important as this game progresses. Rangers shoot in, left side of Resch. Chased down by Parisi. Winds it around for Westfall. Ahead through. Left side of Jockman. Jockman now steers it back behind the net. Whipped around the boards by Park. Park keeps in, takes a check from Gilbert, but Park is back for it. Now Park cuts to the near boards. Dumps it back the other way for Beverly. Beverly standing back behind the Ranger goal, watched by the forechecking Druin. Now Beverly starts up, Here's Beverly across the Ranger line. Beverly to center, shoots in. Right side of Resch makes the stick stop. Gilbert after it. Resch swings it around the board. Paul Parisi and the Islanders break out. A pass at center, knocked away by Rattel. Recovered by Gilbert. Makes the turn and across the Islander line. Slides it in front. Rattel cannot get to it. It's covered up by Resch. He holds on and play is stopped. Steve Vickers did get a piece of that drive from the point by Brad Park. So Vickers, who had the sensational regular season with most of his scoring coming from in front of the opposition net, coming up with 41 goals, 48 assists during the course of the regular season, has come up with goal number 1 right here. Park and Rattel pick up the assists, and the Rangers lead 1-0. On the face, shot by Butler is off the mark, played behind the net by Lewis. Lewis starts up. A lead intended for Howard. Goes too deep, all the way down across the Ranger goal line, touched by Greshner, and we get a whistle for icing. So they'll bring it back. The time of the goal by Vickers, 8-11. Face-off coming up now deep in Islander ice.
Marvin, that shot by Jerry Butler off the face-off, Stemmer winning the face-off, reminded me of the one Ron Harris put in. Identical play, Harris beating Bunny LaRocque up in Montreal last season. This time, Jerry Butler missed the cage.
On the face-off, Stemkowski and St. Laurent on the draw, loose at the circle. Stemmer to the far corner, in front to Butler. His drive goes wide. Butler in front of the net in a one-on-one situation, but shot was off the mark, and now penalty upcoming. Double penalties being called. Ted Irvin and Dave Lewis are both going off. Wally Harris setting them both off. They were tangling in front of the net as Butler was able to unleash that shot from in front. Jerry is very upset with himself.
He's had 2 golden opportunities, both within the last minute. One on a face-off, as we just explained, and this one, Teddy Irvin and Peter Stemkowski getting that puck out to Butler, who was all alone in front of Resch. Resch may have had enough time to just cut that angle down on him, Marv.
Dave Lewis and Ted Irvin, 2 minutes apiece. Lewis for high sticking. And Irvin also for high sticking. 9-2-7. Time of the penalties. Both clubs down a man right now. Rangers go with Stemkowski and Butler up front. Greshner and the runner back on the face-off. Greshner controls. Cuts back to his blue line. Ahead now from Marat. Marat gives off to Stemkowski. Stemmer to center. Shoots in. Gobbled up by Resch. Nearly had trouble with the bouncer, and then is able to steer it behind the net. The Islanders start up. Dennis Potvin shoots it ahead now for Stewart. Stewart at center. Stewart up across the Ranger line. Throws it in the corner. Stemkowski after it and clears out of the zone. Butler on the rush at center. Butler now up across the Islander line. He's tied up by Hart. Back pass intercepted by Stewart. He eludes the check of Greshner as he moves to center. Then he's checked up high by Butler. Butler took a swing at Stewart. They glare at each other. Play continues. Dennis Potvin at center. Tries to feed ahead. Knocked away by Kachuk. Potvin is up with it. Checked by Kachuk. Loses control. This has not been one of the stronger games thus far for Dennis Potvin. You hardly realize he's on the ice. Now the puck is sent deep in Ranger ice as McMillan and Greshner jam each other along the boards. Rangers able to clear out. Here's Kachuk to the out of the line with a drive that is glove saved by Resch. Undecided, then decides to hold on. Drops it to the ice. We saw that maneuver here on Sunday, and it almost cost Glenn Resch. This time, they got the whistle from Wally Harris, and that will make for a face-off in Islander ice.
Final score in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh Penguins 4, St. Louis Blues 3. So the Penguins spotted the Blues, that 2-0 lead, and with that goal-scoring power that they have, are able to come from behind and win the hockey game.
Boston over Chicago in the third, 8-1. And Toronto and LA later on. Halftime in Houston. Rockets leading the next 46-39. Face-off coming up now. Right side of the Islander net, 9:27. Remaining second period. Rangers lead 1-0 on the go by Vickers from Park and Rattel at 8:11 of the second period. 50 seconds remaining on the double penalties to Irvin and Lewis. Dennis Potvin controls the face and starts up. Flicks to the left defense to Hart. Spins away from Fairburn. And he winds it back to Potvin behind the net. Kachuk all over him. Potvin cuts to his left, now right. Looks to start up. Throws it ahead. It's intercepted by Park at center. Cross ice to Ron Harris. Now Harris put it between the legs of Bourne, but Bourne knocks it aside, and Hart comes up with it. Ahead for Dennis Potvin, sweeps around Kachuk to center. He's up to the Ranger line. Now looks to set up a lead for Bourne, overthrown. Bourne checked by Ron Harris. Puck lies loose. Billy Harris takes. His slap is wide, kept in by Dennis Potvin at the point. Throws to the corner to Billy Harris. He moves back behind the Ranger net. Stick handles, tries to wrap it around, but it's held at the side of the net by Jockman. Held it with his right skate, and play is called. And that maneuver by Billy Harris almost clicked. Try to wrap around from an impossible angle behind the net, and Jockman was able to hold it off with his right skate.
Funny type of play the way that developed, Marv. Dennis Potvin had the puck on the right point, and he was going to dump it in to the right corner or to the left of Jockman. He did, but both Islander players are there. Nobody out in front of the net to throw the puck to when Harris picked it up. Harris had to go to the other side. Stewart remained in the corner, not going out in front of the net, and Harris is more or less, even though he tried that play, he had nobody else. He had to make that play. He had nobody to pass the puck to out in front.
Face-off now, right side of the Ranger net. It'll be Druin and Rattel on the draw. Rattel and Jobert up front. Marat and Greshner are back on the face-off. Rattel is up with it. Ahead it goes for Jobert. Lewis and Irvin return. A lead for Irvin. Breaking, has a breakaway. Cuts in. He fakes, shoots. Save and a beauty by Resch. Clutch save by Resch, stopping Irvin on the breakaway as he stepped out of the box. Now Bert Marshall back behind the net. Rangers lead at 1-0. 8:15 remaining. Second period. Pass for Lewis around the boards. Cannot be handled. Slides out to center. Then Greshner backhands it in. Resch stops it behind the net and leaves for Marshall. Winds it around for Lewis. Ahead now for Druin. Moves to center. Ahead for Parisi. Knocked away. Parisi recovers at the Ranger line. Loses on a poke check. And it comes to center. Lewis there. Back pass now for Marshall. Marshall can't control. Rattel takes it away. Rattel up to the out of the line with Jobert. A lead for Jobert. Jobert cannot get the shot off. Stopped by Marshall, who whips it back to the near side and ends up out of the zone on the stick of Westfall. Left wing feed for Parisi back to Westfall across the Ranger line. Intercepted by Greshner. Moves it back behind the Ranger net. 7.5 remaining. Second period. Rangers lead 1-0 on the goal by Vickers. Now Greshner starts up. Greshner moving to his left, comes off the boards, and it skips all the way down ice. Across the Islander goal line, touch made by Marshall, and we get a whistle for icing.
There's a case of no movement. Vickers standing still at the blue line. Gilbert standing still on the other side. Greshner had made the good defensive play, got behind the net, had nobody back to help him out as he came out with the puck, so he took the wise way out. He was going to make a tough pass along the boards. If it could deflect off Vickers, there wouldn't be an icing. If it doesn't, an icing, but he was sort of static back there, had no place to go with the puck.
Face-off now, left side of Ed Jockman. It'll be Rattel against Druin on the draw. Druin the center for Westfall and Parisi. It's sent back behind the Ranger goal line. Beverly is there. Beverly spinning on through and ahead now for Rattel. Rattel is up to center. Left wing pass for Vickers, knocked away. Comes back to center. Rattel takes. Rattel ahead for Vickers and across the out of the line as Rattel is pushed off the puck and ends up on the ice. Druin takes it back and shoots in. A roller that is gobbled up by Jockman. Leaves it for Beverly, who winds it around the boards. Pass too deep. Lewis intercepts. Loses on a stick check to Rattel. Ahead now Jobert. Back pass for Beverly, and the Rangers start up. Beverly to center ice, and then floops one in. Gloved to the left by Resch. Puts it on the ice and swings it around the boards to Parisi. Now Parisi goes cross ice for Westfall. And the tempo of this game has slowed down after the furious start in the first period. Now Westfall to the red line, shoots in. Back behind the net, Jockman makes the stick stop and leaves for Jobert. Islanders change on the move as Jobert starts up. 6:20 remaining. Second period. Jobert dumps in. Left side of the out of the net. Resch stops it. Rangers change on the go. Resch dumps it back behind his net now for Henning. Henning out of the zone. Checked by Stemkowski. Henning moves up to center and loses on a stick check to Irvin. A back pass for Park. Park spinning in his own end away from Henning. Comes to the near board. Now Park comes back the other way. Henning all over. Park moves back behind his net. Henning looks to follow him there. Park standing behind the net. Leaves for Stemkowski. Stemmer starts up on the right board. Throws it out to center, but it's taken by Henning. Loses on a stick check to Beverly. Beverly fires to the out of the line, but it's an easy intercept for Hart. Arms ahead for McMillan, followed up by Park. Butler takes it away. Ahead to Stemkowski at center, and he shoots it to the out of the line, intercepted by John Potvin. Potvin on the rush to the Ranger line. Loses control. Irvin moves after it in the corner along with Potvin. They combine to freeze it. And play is called. Well, now that there's a break in the action, a good time to remind you about new Ultraban Super Dry Antiperspirant. Ultraban Super Dry not only sprays on really dry, it's also more effective in helping stop wetness. That's right, tests have shown that Ultraban Super Dry will help stop wetness better than Right Guard, Arid Extra Dry, Soft and Dry, and Dial. They're all good, but tests have shown new Ultraban Super Dry is better. So why not try an antiperspirant that is more effective at helping you stay dry? New Ultraban Super Dry. On the face-off, puck jammed in the corner, work free now by Beverly, winds it around, Hart flags it down from the point, looks to set up, gives off to Howard. Howard at the far board, throws in front, broken up by Beverly, can't clear out. Potvin keeps in, into the corner to Nystrom. Nystrom with a shot, sticked aside by Chuckaman with much traffic in front, and then Fairburn sends ahead to Kachuk. A lead at center, Sanderson fakes the slap, and Dennis Potvin checks it away. Here's Potvin back to center. Potvin up to the Ranger line. Feet on the right for Nystrom. Breaks in back behind the goal line. Throws out now to the far boards to Potvin. A shot goes wide on a deflection. Chased down by St. Laurent. Knocked away by Sanderson. Kachuk after it behind the Ranger net. He's turned around by Nystrom, but he's able to wind it around the boards, and Fairburn shoots it out of the zone. Howard backboard over skates. Fairburn takes lead. Sanderson, he's in across the out of the line. Cuts in. He's dragged out to the high, and a penalty is called. Penalty upcoming against the Islanders as the puck is pinned in. Back behind the Islander net. Sanderson on a beautiful break led by Fairburn. And a penalty upcoming. It is a tripping call against Dennis Potvin.
Potvin did what he had to do. Sanderson had only a backhand opportunity, no opportunity at all to deke on the play. Had to take the backhand shot. Rush came out. Potvin got his stick on Sanderson's skates and just pushed. Derek going down, and referee Wally Harris calling the play. Good pass by Billy Fairburn. A short pass, just enough for him to beat Jerry Hart and go in on that break.
15:27, the time of the trip on Dennis Potvin. And so the Rangers have the man advantage. They lead it by the score of 1-0.
Derek Sanderson just skating over to the bench. Nemo Francis said that should have been a penalty shot. I have to disagree, Marv. He did not have a complete breakaway. He could not make any other move than shoot from where he was. If you have a breakaway, you can deke, you can shoot. You have both sides of the net to shoot at. That time he was just in, carrying the puck on his backhand. Didn't have enough time to even put it on his forehand.
Rangers continue a mild argument with referee Wally Harris. Now assistant captain Rod Gilbert comes over. Rangers claiming that it should have been a penalty shot. And I have to agree with you, Sal. Nothing clear-cut about that. And I must say also, that was a true trip on Sanderson. No swan dive. Off the face, Breshner from the right point. Fakes the slap, now shoots. It goes wide on a screen out. Bresh. Vickers with the rebound in the corner. Winds it behind the net for Gilbert. In front, Rattel. Broken up nicely by Lewis, but kept alive by Park. Park dumps to the corner to Vickers, takes it back. Park spinning in the corner. Park looks to set up. Now Park moves it along the board. Whistle on the play. Pushing and shoving in front of the net with Lewis and Gilbert getting involved. And a penalty upcoming.
I think they're both going off, both for slashing. Lewis trying to keep Gilbert out from in front of the net. Laid a stick on Gilbert. Gilbert taking exception and striking back.
The discussion continues, but Wally Harris is indicating double penalties upcoming. Right here, let's pause for station identification.
This is WNEW in New York, and this is Gene Clavin, and I'm on every morning, folks, from 5:30 to 10. Is this a game? Huh? Have you heard my show? Is that a show?
This is Marv Albert with Sal Messina from Madison Square Garden in New York. SRO crowd here at the Garden for Game 1 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Here's the announcement on the penalties. Slashing on both Rod Gilbert and Glenn Resch. The goaltender Resch is hit with the slash, and then Lewis came over. At first, it appeared that Harris was handing out the penalty to defenseman Lewis, but it is Resch who got involved with Gilbert. And so the Islanders will send someone over to the penalty box to serve that Resch slash. Time of the penalties, 15:45.
And Bob, that'll set up the 4-on-3 situation still for 1 minute and 42 seconds. Lon Henning who was out on the ice on that opportunity, has to serve that penalty. One of the players who are on the ice at the time of the infraction will go out, and Henning going out to join Dennis Potvin. So the Rangers, for 1 minute and 42 seconds, will have a 4-on-3 situation.
Face-off coming up midway between the Islander blue line and goal line. It'll be Westfall and Rattel on the draw. Controlled by the Rangers. Park holds it at the left point, looks to set up, cross ice, Ron Harris, he shoots, it is blocked, comes in front, Rattel bats at it, it goes wide. Westfall comes away with the loose puck for the Islanders, moves along the boards, looks to clear and succeeds, shoots it all the way down. Rangers have the man advantage in a 4-on-3 skating situation. Ron Harris back behind the Ranger net. Rangers lead it 1-0 as Harris starts up, moving right to left. Harris to center. Harris moving on Westfall across the out of the line that dumps in left side of Bresch. Marshall backboard, whips it around the boards, comes back the other way, took a tricky hop, Rattel able to keep in, out to the point to Ron Harris, cross-size Park from the left side, he flips in front of Vickers, but it's broken up. Harris keeps it alive, he shoots, he falls down as it's knocked away by Marshall, and Westfall takes the loose puck and carries it out to center. He's tied up by Park along the boards at the far side, and that stops play. Park not allowing Westfall to clear it the rest of the ice.
Two good saves by the Islander defense. The first by Dave Lewis, who just made a kick save right in front of Glenn Resch on Park's shot, and then Bert Marshall able to stop Ronnie Harris's shot as all three Islanders had drifted over to that side of the ice, and if Ronnie would have made a pass, the other side of the ice is all Rangers.
Rangers remain with Rattel and Vickers up front, Harris and Parker back.
When has the United States ever put
50 seconds remaining on the Dennis Potvin penalty. The hand for Ron Harris as he leaves. Brechner steps on. And 1:08 on those double penalties to Gilbert and Glenn Resch. Henning serving the Resch penalty, incidentally. On the face, Park shoots it all the way down for the Islanders. Back behind the Ranger goal line. Park is after it. Now Park starts up. Rangers have the man advantage. Park to center. Park is up across the Islander line. Park cuts to the near side. Has Vickers out deep, wide open. A pass to Vickers at the left point. Cross-ice Brechner. Brechner back to Vickers. He goes in with a drive. Save off the glove of Resch. On the rebound, Brechner keeps it on the right point. He lines it up, not shoot back to Park as Vickers at the near corner. Now Park sets up, gives to Vickers in the corner. Vickers moves in, back the other way. Brechner out to Park, straightaway shot. He shoots, blocked beautifully by a diving Marshall. And Westfall clears it all the way down. Bert Marshall with that block on the straight-on shot by Brad Park. Here's Brechner out of the zone, but Dennis Potvin returns to the ice. Brechner tied up by Parisi, moves in across the out of the line, back past Fairburn. Fairburn cross-ice to Park. Park shoots. It is deflected wide. On the rebound, it's Fairburn at the far corner. Fairburn is hemmed in. Puck is held against the boards. Park pushes it along the boards, and then it's frozen to stop play. 5 seconds remaining on the double penalties. Right now, both clubs are 4 skaters apiece. Face-off coming up to the left side of the Islander net. We have 2:20 left in this first period, and the Rangers lead it 1-0 on the goal by Steve Vickers, assisted by Brad Park and John Rattel at 8:11 of the second period.
And with that whistle, Glenn Resch came out and patted Bert Marshall on the backside, saying, way to go. And what a job Bert Marshall did on that particular power play by the Rangers. He stopped 2 good shots, and the last one, the Rangers throwing the puck around beautifully. Greshner finally getting it back to Park. And a beautiful sprawling save by Bert Marshall to keep that puck from penetrating.
Face-off now, left side of Resch. That'll be Kachuk and Druid on the draw. On the face-off, it's sent back behind the out of the net. Hart after it. Hart drops it now for Druin. Druin winds it around the boards. Marat after. Shoots back in behind Resch. Resch makes the stick stop. Gilbert and Henning return now. Both clubs 5 skaters aside. Druin takes it in front of his own net. Clears it ahead now for Dennis Potvin, and Potvin shoots it out to center. Parisi can't handle it. Fairburn bats it away over to Sanderson. He cuts it up in the backhander. It's wide. Beautiful move by Sanderson, but a shot went wide. Now here's Druin up to center for the Islanders. Moving on the route. Fakes the slap at the Ranger line, then loses possession. And Greshner takes, spins back behind his goal line, winds it around the board. Dennis Potvin keeps in. Dumps it in the corner for McMillan. Back behind the goal line. Parisi back in front. 10 for McMillan. Intercepted by Sanderson. Ahead Fairburn at center. He is 1-on-2. Fairburn shoots in a high shot gloved at the crossbar by Resch. Puts on the stick of defenseman Jerry Hart. Hart spinning back behind his net. Watched by Kachuk. Rolls it around onto the stick of Druin. Here's Druin up to center for the Islanders. Druin on the crisscross with McMillan. Takes a hip check from around as he shoots in, and Sanderson slaps it back the other way. It carries all the way down across the Islander goal line. The touch by Dennis Potvin, and that prompts the whistle for icing, so they'll bring it back down for a face-off. They have now changed the scoring on that Ranger goal. It is Brad Park's goal from Rattel at 8-11, originally called Vickers on a deflection from in front. Apparently they looked at the replay and determined that it was a Park slap shot all the way. And Vickers did not get a piece of it. Rattel, the assist, 8-11. Rangers lead 1-0. Face-off deep in Ranger ice, controlled again by the Rangers. Irvin is hauled down. He and Howard entangled with their skates, and the fans here looking for a penalty. No penalty called. Howard also went down. Park moves back behind his net, watched by the forechecking Howard. Now Park starts up, but Nystrom forechecking well, and Park has to move back behind his net. Park looking ahead. Now Park starts up around Nystrom. Here's Park with 40 seconds remaining in the period, moving up to center. Ahead for Beverly, has an opening on the right side, down to the line. A slap is wide on the rebound. Stemkowski shoots, scores! Stemkowski, who has had many a great playoff series, starting right here in game number 1 with a tough angle shot some 30 feet out, right side of Resch, beat him over the shoulder, and the Rangers lead it 2-0.
Complete breakdown by the Islanders. Everybody going to the left side of the ice as the Rangers came in, and Beverly was able to go down the right side to take the first shot. Resch even was slow as the puck bounced off the boards, and Stemmer right on the puck. Resch coming over to this side of the net. Stemkowski shot it to where Resch was coming from. No way Resch could react. A perfect shot right inside the post.
Time of the goal, 19:25 on the face-off. Controlled by Lewis of the Islanders, shoots ahead, ends up in the crowd, and play is called. Beverly and Park the assist for Pete Stemkowski. Well, there's one for the new member of the Stemkowski family. I know Gail Stemkowski is taking it all in on WNEW. Gail and Peter celebrating the birth of a girl just a couple of days ago. On the face, Stemkowski control, shoots in, right side of Resch. Time running down here in this second period. Rangers lead at 2-0. Islanders clear out of the zone. Howard takes it center, moves to the Ranger line, and then shoots in left side of the net. Park after on a scramble with Howard. Nystrom works free. Irvin is over there. As time runs out, Irvin pulls it around the boards, and that's the end of the second period. The score after 2. The New York Rangers 2, and the New York Islanders nothing. We'll be back in a moment, and Sal will be talking with one of my all-time favorite New York Rangers from years gone by. A Ranger in the early 60s, Wild Bill Ezenicki. Don't play him on the golf course, Sal.
No, I understand. He is a golf pro. We'll have to ask him about that, but Wild Bill Ezenicki was a man who loved to throw his body around. And, you know, the big whistler Chadwick said to me, Ezenicki was a rough, tough guy, but he never got a high sticking penalty. I asked Bill, you have that good a memory. You never gave him a high sticking penalty. We're going to have to ask Ezenicki about that.
All right, Wild Bill Ezenicki will be our guest just a moment or two. Right here, let's pause for this from Manufacturers Hanover.
I'm walking through what used to be a busy bank. Now it's filled only with the ghosts of people who used to bank here.
Sorry, it's after 3. We're closed.
Margaret Martin used to spend her lunch hours here standing in line, but she's disappeared. She banks at Manufacturers Hanover now, where many branches open early and close late, so she can spend her lunch hour after lunch.
Next.
David Bella's accountant used to stand in line for 10 minutes to make a simple deposit. He's disappeared too. Now he makes deposits in 10 seconds in a quick-time deposit box at Manufacturers Hanover.
Sorry, you have to get an officer's approval.
Eleanor Ross, secretary, got sick and tired of being given a hard time every time she wanted to cash a check at another branch. She too has disappeared. Gone to where she can cash her check at any branch. Now she gets hard cash instead of a hard time. A lot of people are going to Manufacturers Hanover because they're doing a lot of things to make banking the way you want it to be. Member FDIC.
In the second period, the Rangers outshot the Islanders 14-7 for an overall 24-15 edge over the first 2 periods. No scoring in the first. In the second, it was Park on a slap, assisted by Rattel at 8-11. And then Stemkowski from Beverly and Park at 19-25, giving the Rangers the 2-0 lead right here after 2. Penalties in the second. Irvin and Lewis together for high sticking at 9:27. Dennis Potvin for a trip at 15:27. Then Resch, the goaltender, and Gilbert got involved in front of the net, and they were both called for slashing at 15:45, giving the Rangers a 4-on-3 skating advantage. Resch's penalty served by Lorne Henning. 2-0 the score at the end of 2. The Rangers on top. Elsewhere in the National Hockey League, Boston over Chicago 8-1 in the third. Pittsburgh came from behind and beat the St. Louis Blues 4-3. St. Louis jumping off to that 2-0 lead, but the Penguins just awesome at home this season, able to come back and pull out the victory by the count of 4-3. Why does the garden blossom in springtime? Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. That's why. It's colorful 3-ring family fun for children of all ages. It's the better than ever bicentennial edition of the greatest show on earth in the Garden, now through the 26th of May. And tickets are on sale at the Garden box office and at Ticketron outlets. Remember, you can reserve your circus tickets by phone using your MasterCharge, Bank America card, or American Express credit card. The number to call, 212-594-4900 for circus reservations. 212-594-4900. A look at our upcoming broadcast schedule. Thursday, we have a sports doubleheader starting at 1:50 in the afternoon with the Met pregame show. The Mets go against the Phillies at Shea. Mets opening up behind Tom Seaver by beating the Phillies today 2-1. Thursday night, the Knicks and the Houston Rockets from the Garden starting at 10 minutes before 9 with John in the pregame, and that will be game 2 of their best 2 out of 3 series. If there is a third game in Houston on Saturday afternoon, we will be there to bring you all the action. Rangers and Islanders continue at the Nassau Coliseum Thursday night, and if there is a game 3, they will play it here at the Garden on Friday night, and you will hear it on WNEW starting same time, 10 minutes before 9 with Sal and the pregame show. Right here, we're 2 complete, and the Rangers on second period goals by Brad Park and Pete Stemkowski lead the Islanders 2-0. I see Wild Bill is all set. Here's Sal.
Well, Bill doesn't look as wild as when I saw him play with a blue shirt on here back. I don't even remember the year Marv did. I think it was the early 60s, Bill, when you were with the Rangers, or was it the late 50s?
Oh, it was the late 50s, yeah. Mostly with Toronto and Boston. But it's nice being in the new rink. The facilities are great, but as we were saying, talking to each other earlier, we miss the homey feeling of the old Madison Square Garden.
So I've gotten accustomed to it now. I think we're here about 7 years, and even though I never played in the old rink, of course, I watched games there, and that had a tremendous flavor about it. This rink, to me, has developed some sort of a homey feeling to me. I know it's your first trip here. It's, as you said, the different dimensions have a bearing on things, too, the ice surface.
Yes, the end zones were smaller, and it favored the big man on defense. As we were saying, the defensemen are much better skaters today. They maneuver. They have greater maneuverability. I don't know what the penalty box is like, though. I haven't seen that for a while, but it looks kind of classy.
Well, you spent a lot of time in penalty boxes. I remember that.
Oh, yes. I had the best seat in the house many times, Sal. Many times.
Bill Chadwick said to me up in the press lounge earlier before the game, as Nicky was a tough guy, always hit people, he never got a high sticking penalty. Did you ever?
Oh, I might have, but really, the stick was always below the shoulder, and we were trained to use our body. Harris threw a nice check out there tonight. He uses his body, his hips. Barilko could hit. But Bill was quite a guy. He gave me a penalty once, and it was the 5th penalty of one period that he gave me. He gave me 5 penalties in one period. But I never questioned Bill, never used any profanity. But I said, Bill, what was that one for? He said, it wasn't for what you did. He said, it was for what you were about to do.
Bill anticipating. We'll have to talk to him about that.
I think Bill Chadwick was the greatest hockey referee that I've ever seen. They've had some good ones, and they have good ones today. But Clancy, Gravel, and Chadwick, they have the respect of the players.
And quite a couple of good characters, too, when you talk about Clancy.
Oh, he's a great man. So is Bill, and Leo Gravel was a great referee.
Bill, this game tonight, a great checking game, I thought. A tough checking game. Both teams just sitting back waiting for the breaks. How does this, a game in this playoff series, a 2-out-of-3 series, go back and compare tonight's game with when you were playing in the playoffs for the Maple Leafs?
Well, we always had a best 4-out-of-7 series, where you might be more inclined to be cautious with a 2-out-of-3 series. And it started out very strong in the first period with good heavy checking and a lot of physical work out there by both teams. And then the Rangers seemed to take over when the Islanders stopped hitting.
Bill, going back to your years, defenseman with a great checkers. The game nowadays, you're the exception, of course. You were one of the hitting forwards. But to me now, the hitters are the forwards more so than the defensemen, and stay back in the late 50s.
Well, we were always taught to have the defenseman stand up front, not to back into the goaltender. As a result, I know we could go behind the goaltender and pick the man off that was coming through. Or else, if the defensemen held their ground just over the blue line, we could feed the other forwards into the defensemen. But they shoot better today. I wouldn't say their skating is any better, but the defensemen are definitely better skaters. And it seems to be a little faster, but it's different from the stands looking out there than being out there.
Well, a little bit about yourself right now. I understand you're a golf pro. I know you've been a golf pro for many years. What are you actually getting into? You were on a tour a while back. Are you still active as far as playing on a tour or strictly club work?
Well, Sal, I've always played the winter tour. I've enjoyed that. But then getting back to a club, I've always been at a golf club. I'm at the International Golf Club in Bolton at the present time. Golf has always gotten me into a lot of trouble, both with Toronto, Boston. I don't know about New York, but I remember playing 36 holes a day of a game when I was with Boston. We played the Rangers that night, and I was called into the office by Mr. Ross. He said, "You play 36 holes on Sunday, the day of the Ranger game?" And I said, "Yes, Mr. Ross, I did." He didn't appreciate that fact, and it wasn't long before I was with the Bruins. But I remember Connie Smythe asking me, he said, "Bill, I only reported to camp twice out of approximately 9 years." And he said, when I reported late one year to Mr. Smythe, he said, "Bill, what would you rather do, play hockey or golf?" And I said, "Well, frankly, I'd rather play golf, Mr. Smythe." But he never permitted me to finish. I was going to tell him that the sports didn't conflict and one aided the other. I was traded to Boston.
Well, how did you finally get to New York? Was that after playing the 36 holes with Boston?
Yes. I enjoyed New York, and it was just great coming down here to watch a hockey game, and I'm really enjoying it.
Bill, yourself, you in your era were considered one of the toughest men in the game, definitely the hardest hitters. Now you have a player like Dave Schultz in the National Hockey League. An exciting player to watch. I don't know as far as
nothing different from what you'd find in the family physician's office.
His use of the body and his use of everything he can use in order to stop a player. In your day, was there as much stick work as there is today? How do you compare what they call violence, which I think is over-exaggerated nowadays, say, back to when you played?
Well, we had a lot of violence, say, between Montreal and Toronto. There was a lot of blood spilled out there. The best hockey was played in the playoffs. I think every team in the National Hockey League or in any hockey league requires a man like Dave Schultz. You have to have a policeman. And it won't be long before I think Dave will improve upon his other qualifications as a player. You cease to become a rookie when you recognize how not to jeopardize your team's chances of winning. You know, when I first came up as a rookie, I took a lot of foolish penalties, but it was because through the endeavor of attempting to win. But I like Dave Schultz. He could play in my club.
Well, you have a club right now. You'll put one together. You'd go for a man like Schultz. You couldn't have more than one Dave Schultz, I think, on your team, because then you would play half the game in the penalty box, actually.
Well, everybody has the Dave Schultz. Canadians used to have Ferguson. The Bruins always had Cashman. Cashman, to me, is the third best hockey player when he's, well, without his back injury, when he's played, the third best hockey player with the Bruins, in my book. I like to have somebody out there who can, well, protect the, there's always a little guy out there who has a lot of talent, but he can't exercise it if someone's shoving him around all the time. So a fellow like Cashman or Schultz or Ferguson, you can keep a little piece out there. The fans like it, too. They don't like to see their team bullied out of the rink.
Well, that's for sure. Bill, yourself, you were involved, of course, in Montreal-Toronto playoff series. Was it such a close-knit league then, more so than it is now? You had more of the rivalries.
I would say so. You saw each other more often, and the rivalries they were better at times because the owners had a leg on the players. They had somebody to replace you, at least 5 guys for your position. So it was tough making the team, but the most difficult job was remaining and staying with that club. And your lifespan as a hockey player at that time wasn't as long as it is now, because of the fact that there were more hockey players for the 6 teams that were involved.
Bill, yourself, did you carry with a player, say you got involved with a player, did you forget it after the game, or did you remember about it the next hockey game?
Well, I think you had a very good memory, and you're. I think you'd forget it until the next time that you teed it up on the ice. And you had to read players. You had to analyze their moves, which way they cut, which way they fake, and in the third period, the team with the most stamina would eventually win the hockey game. We won our first Stanley Cup against Montreal, and I know they were the class of the field, but we were the best conditioned club in the league.
Well, Bill Ezenicky, and I have to say, well, you're not wild anymore. You're a golfer and to date, and thanks very much for coming up. It's a pleasure talking to you.
I've really enjoyed being here, Sal.
Marvelous.
Okay, for Wild Bill, we have a Sony AM/FM Digimatic clock radio with push-button controls and automatic sleep timer. The Sony also has illuminated, easy-to-read clock numerals and a big 3-inch speaker. It's not just a radio, it's a Sony. The Rangers are back on ice. The Islanders will be here in just a moment. We'll have the third period after this from Schaefer.
Listen to the smooth sliding sound of a country steel guitar. See yourself on a fine summer evening doing what you please, pleasing yourself with the mellow flavor of some fine cold beer. Not just any beer, Schaefer beer. Because Schaefer's the one beer that goes all evening, still tasting like the night is young. The one beer with flavor that never fades, glass after frosty glass. Schaefer stays so smooth, so first beer fine, that every Schaefer plays like music to your thirst. Schaefer, it's the one beer to have when you're having more than one.
F&M Schaefer Brewing Company, New York, New York. In this third period, it'll be Glenn Risch defending the goal to our right for the Islanders, and Ed Jockman defending to our left for the Rangers. Wild Bill Ezenicky played late 50s, not early 60s. I tell you, Sal, when you're having a good time, time really goes back.
There goes your age situation. Rob will have to discuss that one.
I don't follow you, Sal.
I saw while you played when you were in high school.
Grade school at the time.
Oh, you just mentioned high school.
Off the face-off, Jerry Hart controls, shoots it ahead. Mark intercepts, makes his move to the Islanders' blue line, puts on the brakes. This is on a stick check, and Parisi clears it ahead. Here's Westmore to center, 3-on-1 for the Islanders. Westmore cuts in, splash for the right. The puck really comes in, he shoots. Kicks, saving up beauty, made by Cochran. Joe Bell with the rebound. Joubert swings it ahead, knocked the other way by Hart. Sends left side of Jockman on a whistle for an offside. with Parisi ahead of the play. Hart threw it in. And so they'll bring it back, and we hearing the chant of Eddie, Eddie from this capacity crowd here at the Garden. It has been a very strong game for Ed Chockerman in that for the New York Rangers. Eddie bouncing back in Philadelphia next year because people will not understand why we refund or freeze and has been just brilliant tonight. Rangers lead at 2-0. We're underway in third period. On the face-off outside the Ranger line, Marshall shoots in, back behind the Ranger net, Sankowski there, hit hard behind the goal by St. Laurent, but whips it around to the butler, can't clear. St. Laurent keeps it, sends it from Chockerman, able to clear it aside away from Howard, who is captain from, but Nystrom keeps in, sends to Marshall at the point. He loses on a stick check, recovered by Nystrom. Nystrom loses to Stankowski's turned around, then recovers past the feet. St. Laurent, he's stumped by Laurent, and the Rangers clear it out of the zone. At center, Butler sweeps it by Lewis, cuts it across the out of the line. The angle drive, kick save made by Resch. On the rebound is Lewis of the Islanders. Shoots it ahead for St. Laurent. He moves to center. He's up across the Ranger line. Looks to pull the string, but a back pass for Lewis. He loses control. It's cleared out by Butler. Leads Stankowski. And across the line with a whistle for an offside. And they'll bring it back. Rangers offside. And they'll bring it back. Face-off coming up inside the Ranger blue line. Two-line pass for Stankowski. Bringing it back. And so they'll face it off. 18:42 remaining, third period. Rangers lead 2-0 on the second period. Goals by Brad Park and Pete Stankowski. Now Bourne and Kachuk will go on this draw. Confirmed by Beverly. Outside secures the throughout in Ranger territory. Park shoots it ahead. Kachuk muscles his way around Hart, ahead out to Beverly, sends in off the stick of Sanderson. Flagged down by the goaltender, Resch for Putman, and Putman looks to clear, cannot kept in by Fairburn. Into the slot, Sanderson. He is bumped by Hart, and a penalty call, and the Islanders are arguing this one. That time it was, well, a perfect night forward with the Oscars this evening. Marv, that one, second Sanderson thrown with the stick. Sanderson gave it a little bit when he went down, but he had his back on, being tilted towards the boards. Hart sort of tugged at him with his stick, and as soon as Derek felt that stick, he knows how to react to the situation, and he reacted well. I would expect that someone opening an envelope tonight will find the name Derek Sanderson is. One up in the best of three series. It is Hart for his first at 139. Face-off coming up from the right side of the Island net. Rangers have the man advantage. Rattel steps on. Vickers left, Gilbert right.
In front of the Civil Board of Education building at 911 Olives, teachers were demonstrating their approval of recent
time up top. Here's the face between Rattel and Westfall. Set to the floorboard. Push Marshall controls and clears it all the way down for the Islanders. So the Rangers will have to regroup on this power play. Greshner moving back behind his net. Looks to set up, now starts up in deliberate fashion. Ahead it goes now to Rattel. Rattel swinging to center, back past Greshner. He lugs it up to the out of the line. A foot to the right point for Gilbert. Into the corner it goes to Greshner. Vickers and Rattel can't in front. It comes in front, kicked aside by Resch and cleared by Westfall. Can't clear all the way. Park keeps it in deep. Park moves to the near corner. Has Rattel in front, goes to and cleared now by Lewis on the out of it. Greshner and Gilbert back forward as Chockerman comes out to stop it. Greshner takes a minute 15 remaining on that Greshner whips it around the board for Gilbert. Gilbert starting up now with Henning dropping back. Here's Gilbert moving to center. A lead for Greshner, cuts it across the out of the line. He's checked by Lewis in the corner. Loses control. Rattel works it free though. Cuts to the side of the net. A wraparound attempt knocked away, and Henning picks up the loose puck. Henning to center with Westfall right. Henning flying across the Ranger line. A slap puck save made by Chockerman. Sweeps it ahead now for Greshner. Eddie very sharp. Here's Greshner wheeling out of the zone. Ahead it goes to center to Gilbert. Gilbert cutting left on Henning. Breaks to his right. Drops it for Rattel inside the out of the line. A flip on the left for Vickers. Vickers shoots one. Stick save made. Rebound Gilbert. Knocked aside by Marshall. Gilbert sent flying. Able to get it out nevertheless to Park at the point. Back to Gilbert at the far side. Gives to Rattel. In close Vickers. A return for Gilbert. Fakes the slap. Then his pass knocked away by Henning. And Henning comes up with a loose puck. Henning out of the zone. Batted by Gilbert as he moves to center. Henning up to the Ranger line. Henning loses on a stick check to Greshner, and it's chased at center by Westfall with 12 seconds remaining on that Hart penalty. Now Dennis Potvin kills the clock as he cuts around his own end. Ahead for McMillan at center. Makes the turn on Greshner and across the Ranger line, then loses control of it. It is played by Greshner. Penalty has expired as Hart returns. Rangers not able to get much going on this power play attempt. Rangers still in control now. Kreshner ahead for Park. Back to Kreshner. Moving to center against Bourne, who stick checks it away beautifully. Here's Bourne up to the Ranger line. Big three-in on Park. Bourne now comes off the 20. A centering feed. Intercepted by Sanderson. Ahead for Fairburn. Fairburn caught by the Park as he clears it out to center ice. Now Fairburn picks up his own pass. Leads Couture. Couture deep. Knocked away by Dennis Potvin out of the stick of Bourne. Flying at center. Up across the Ranger line. Puts on the brakes. A shot goes wide with Jockman during the split. Kept in by Dennis Potvin at the point. He throws in front for Bourne. Penalty upcoming. Bourne over to Gillies. His shot goes wide. Penalty against the Rangers. And now Couture takes possession. And we get a whistle. Wally Harris calling interference. Interference penalty upcoming against the Rangers. And let's see who has had it off. Schumer Rutt talking it over with Harris, and now he is heading off the ice. So the Islanders will have the man advantage. Right here, let's pause for station identification.
Oh, what a great... This is Gene Clavin. This folks, it's so exciting. I don't mean WNEW New York where you're hearing the game. I mean my show every morning from 5:30 to 10. Folks, don't leave this.
The Rockets interference at 4:20. After 3 quarters in Houston, Rockets leading the next 67-60 in game 1 on their best 2 out of 3. Face-off now, right side of Jockman. Islanders with the man advantage. Going Parisi and Harris up front off the face. Ron Harris of the Rangers clears it around the boards. Dennis Potvin keeps in. Off the Parisi. First break pass intercepted by Couture. Leads Fairburn at center. Fairburn wheeling up to the Islander line. Takes a hard check along the boards from Potvin and loses control. Islanders control once again. Dennis Potvin stick handles to center.
Earlier in the day, Army Chief of Staff General Frederick White recommended to President Ford
over to brother Dennis, cuts in along the board. Loses on a sliding stick check by Ron Harris, who sent back behind the Ranger goal line. Billy Harris after it, feeds in front, threw in a shot, knocked aside by Jockman. On the rebound, Parisi takes back behind the Ranger goal line. He's headed in by Beverly, gets it off to Billy Harris. His shot, score! A lot of hard work by the Islanders to set that up. A power play goal by Billy Harris from the left of Jockman, and the Ranger lead is now 2-1.
Good play by Billy Harris, consistent checking by Parisi, and Druin behind the net, working that puck into the corner, and Harris just taking it away and working on Beverly. Come out in front of Jockman, and Jockman was a little cautious. He had a man to the other side of the cage and went down first, had to make the first move. Harris beat him up high.
Now the face-off at center between Andre St. Laurent and Pete Stemkowski. It's sent to the Ranger line. Park is back forward. Goes cross ice now to Beverly. Beverly up to center. Beverly shoots in across the Islander blue line. Taken by Howard. Hard check on Howard by Butler, sending him reeling. But Howard able to clear it down ice. Beverly up with it. Beverly spinning on St. Laurent. Shoots it out of the zone. Intercepted by Marshall. A lead off the mark. Chased down to the right by Jockman. Park back forward. Park back behind his goal line. Now sends it around the boards. And Stemkowski starts up with it as Irvin left Butler right stemmer. A long drive glove save to the left. Made by Resch. Leaves it behind the goal for Lewis. Loses control. Then whips it around the boards to Nystrom. Nystrom kicks it ahead, but it's kept in by Beverly. Rolls it back to the far side. St. Laurent back forward. Back pass now for Marshall. Ahead for his defense partner Lewis. Lewis shoots it out center to St. Laurent. St. Laurent breaking on Park. He's up to the Ranger line. Loses on a poke check. Falls down on the puck. Then a loose puck picked up by Park. Park starts up for the Rangers. Park to the Ranger line. Met by the check of Howard, who knocks it aside. Park recovers, sends to center through the legs of Irvin. Irvin and Marshall turn each other around, and then the loose puck picked up by St. Laurent of the Islanders. Hacked that by Park as he moves to the Ranger line, hit hard by Butler, and it's sent back the other way. At center, it is Marshall for the Islanders. Ahead for Howard across the Ranger line. Howard tries to lead Nystrom, then changes his mind out to the point. Marshall, his shot wide with Nystrom setting a screen. Comes to the left point to Lewis. His shot blocked by Park. Kept in by Lewis. Loses on a stick check to Rattel. Rattel goes with Butler and across the end of the line. Butler a shot way off. A slap to the right of Resch by a good 10 feet, and the Islanders move it back. Nystrom up across the Ranger line, takes a shove from Irvin, keeps going, a wraparound attempt, stopped by the stick of Jockman. Islanders have really come alive here in the third period. They now trail 2-1. Marat sweeps it around the boards for Irvin. Irvin is forechecked by Nystrom. Irvin makes the turn and starts up. Shoots it out to center. Intended pass for Gilbert. Intercepted by Howard. Howard a flip that is knocked away by Kreshner. Picked up at the red line by Hart. Eddie rolls it in. Right side of Jockman. Eddie makes the stick stop. Whistle on the play. Jerry Hart, standing near the Ranger bench, was high stick by a Ranger jumping off the bench. And Hart took it on the top of the head. He got clobbered by either a Ranger jumping off or back on the bench. I saw Vickers coming off and Irvin heading back to the bench. They both had the sticks up high, and it was Ted Irvin who popped Hart on top of the head.
And they're looking for blood right now on Hart's head to get the 5-minute penalty, but there isn't any there. Harris already took the one look. Irvin was the man, Marv. He was on the way into the door when it's a Hart had his stick up in the air, and his stick came down on Jerry Hart's head.
7:03, time of the high stick on Ted Irvin. That Islander goal on the power play scored by Billy Harris from Parisi and Brewer at the 5-minute mark. So the Islanders with their first ever playoff goal. It's 2-1 now. Rangers on top, face off in center. Islanders have the man advantage. Sanderson and Brewer on the ball. It's sent all the way down, right side of Jockman. Greshner backboard, winds it around the board. Manafort at the far side. Marv wins the battle and shoots it out of the zone. There's Putman trapped in the center. Putman spinning on Fairburn. Now here's Putman on the rush to the Ranger line. Loses. Stick checked away by Greshner. Dumps it back out at center. Brewer is back forward. Brewer spins at the out of the line. Makes the turn. Moves to center and shoots it on the left wing for Parisi. But he is ahead of the play and offside. So they'll bring it back. You know, most men's hairsprays look fine, but how do they feel? You'll find that most of them make your hair feel wet when you spray them on, but Vitalis Dry 3 is different. It is the only leading hairspray that goes on almost dry, and when they do dry, most hairsprays make your hair feel stiff. But with Vitalis Dry 3, your hair feels softer, not nearly as stiff. Vitalis Dry 3, the hairspray that feels as good as it looks. On the face, Islanders shoot in left side of Jockman. Marv winds it around the board, kept in by John Putman at the right point. Bothered by Sanderson, dumps it back behind Jockman. Parisi there, flips in front, through and a shot. Kick, saving a beauty made by Jockman. On the rebound, it's Fairburn ahead to Sanderson at center. Puts on the brakes as he's met by John Putman, but back passes to Marv, keeping his own end. Forsythe, Park, and Punt shoots it all the way down. We have the minute remaining on the Irvin penalty. 11:55 remaining third period. Rangers lead at 2-1. Of course, in playoff hockey, we can go to overtime. Dennis Potvin starts up. Ahead it goes to center ice to Pruitt. Right wing feed for Billy Harris, broken up by Marat, who dumps it all the way down. Rolling it in front of Islander goalie Glenn Resch, who leaves it for John Potvin. Potvin standing back behind his net now, looking to regroup this power play for the Islanders. Now flips it on the right wing for Billy Harris, but he overthrows, and Marat dumps it right back in. Islanders now having difficulty getting this power play going. John Potvin is back for it. Just 25 seconds on the Ranger penalty as Potvin starts up. Ahead it goes to center ice to Billy Harris. Harris sweeping in across the Ranger line. Back pass for Bruin. Bruin a shot. Save made by Jockman with a big crowd in front of that Ranger net. Gillies keeps in front for Potvin. His shot wide on the rebound. Bruin from the angle sets up. Feeds in front. Cut away from Gillies and cleared by Butler. Jerry Butler using his strength to take it away from Gillies and Punt to clear it. Now Potvin out of the zone. Irvin is back. Here's Potvin up across the Ranger line. Penetrates to the far corner. Tries to set in front. The Gillies knocked around the boards by the Ranger defense and picked off by Sanderson. Sanderson out of the zone. Right wing pass intended to Butler. Intercepted by Gillies, who cuts back to the out of the blue line. Makes the turn. He's up to center. Moving with Bourne across the Ranger line. Loses on the stick check to Rattel. Rattel is 1-on-2. Rattel pulls up at the out of the line. Flicks in. Lewis breaks it up and shoots it back to the Ranger blue line. Beverly there for the Rangers, ahead for Vickers and across the out of the line. A drop for Rattel. He goes in, he shoots. It is blocked by Lewis. Rattel takes it back, winds it around the board. Gilbert comes up with a loose puck. He moves to the corner. He throws it out to the point, but it's off the mark, and Beverly has to make the turn and chase it all the way down. Beverly catches up with it inside the Ranger blue line, watched by Nystrom. Goes cross ice to Greshner, who comes off the board to Gilbert. He loses to Howard. Cross ice Nystrom in Ranger territory. A shot blocked by Beverly. Beverly winds it around, but Nystrom intercepts. He's at the far board. He moves to the corner. He's tied up again by Beverly. Beverly gets it off to Vickers. Vickers clears it out of the zone. Played by a backskating Lewis at center. Ahead now for Howard at the Ranger line. He leads St. Laurent. Spinning in. He's dumped down the play by Beverly, who has had a tremendous sequence. He breaks up the pass play, ends up sending it to the boards, and falls on the puck. 3 excellent defensive plays by Nick Beverly.
St. Laurent had the play. He had Nystrom on the other side, and Beverly had to cover up. Sprawling, just laying his body out. No way St. Laurent could have got the puck by him, and he just pinned it up against the ball. And Nick Beverly doing an outstanding job, an unheralded job throughout. this season, and he's doing a good job again tonight.
9:45 remaining third period. Rangers 2, and the Islanders 1. Mark and Stemkowski for the Rangers in the second. Billy Harris for the Islanders here in the third on a power play. And the Knicks were beaten by the Houston Rockets in Game 1 of their playoff series, 99-84. Final score, Rockets 99, Knicks 84. On the faceoff, Stemkowski controls in Ranger ice, moves it back behind his net. Stemmer, watched by the forechecking St. Laurent, sends to the right defense now to Park. Park ahead for Beverly, and Beverly lugs it out to center. Leads Stemkowski, and Stemmer slaps it in. Right side of Glenn Resch. Resch makes the stick stop and leaves for Lewis. Lewis spinning toward the near side, tied up by Stemkowski, winds it around. Nystrom can't control. Beverly does at the left point, sets it front, but it's taken by Marshall from the Islanders. Marshall to center, a lead for Howard hanging, the pass across 2 lines, and we get a whistle for offside. They'll bring it back. Let's break right here for this message.
Alka-Seltzer brings you a message from the old one, too. Well, your first flat in 15 years. So you're holding up traffic for mine. And your wife is waiting with your favorite dinner, burnt lasagna. We'll be right there with the old one, too. Alka-Seltzer, let's get out of here!
For aches and pains with upset stomach, try Alka-Seltzer with specially buffered aspirin plus antacids. Use only as directed. It gives the old 1-2, the old 1-2.
Marv Albert with Sal Messina from Madison Square Garden in New York. On the face-off, Rush comes in, right side of the Island net. 9 minutes remaining third period. Rangers 2, Islanders 1. Game 1 of the Stanley Cup best 2 of 3 playoff series. Islanders start up. A pass from Dennis Putman from deep in his end, intercepted at center by Kreshner. Ahead it goes to the spinning Kachuk, and he throws it in. Right side of Resch. Makes the stick stop, leaves for Hart. Watched by the forechecking Kachuk. Now Hart starts up on the near side. Spins away from Kachuk. Still spinning. Now throws it out of the zone. It carries all the way down. Jockman has to stop it with the stick. And leaves for Kreshner. Kreshner winds it around the board. Sanderson cannot handle it at the Ranger line, and it carries back the other way across the goal line of the Islanders. And you hear the whistle for icing against the Rangers.
Dennis Putman tried to ice the puck. He lost an edge on his blade. Took about 3 or 4 strides before the puck went to him. And he was going over the hard to ice, and the puck came back to Putman. He tried icing it, and the puck ended up on Jockman. Jockman's stick. He went off, and he's having his skates attended to right now by the Islander trainer.
Face off left side of Eddie Jockman. Islanders now go with a front line of Henning, McMillan, and John Putman. First Marshall, Dave Lewis are back. Rangers have Kachuk with Fabrin and Sanderson. Sanderson on the wing, Marv and Kreshner in the back. Face to the left side of the Ranger net, it trickles in front. Jockman lets it go for Kreshner, breaks it off the man's Fabrin, clears it across the arm of the line. Chase for the puck, Marshall up with it, slams it to center for McMillan. McMillan with Putman racing right, shoots in. Left side of Jockman, Putman tries to play it off the boards. He does have an empty net. Jockman gambled, came out. And the Islanders have tied it at 2. Jockman way out of position, and Putman was able to wrap it around and put it in the empty net. A bad play by Ed Jockman, and we're tied at 2.
Sanderson was with Putman, but Putman had a step on him. Jockman sort of got a piece of the puck, and it ended right back on top Putman's stick. And all they had to do was just come right back out the other side and tuck it in.
So the way the Islanders played the boards, you think this was their home ice, because that was one of those plays banging off the boards, and then John Putman in and tried to pick it up. And it worked, although not exactly the way it was designed, with Jockman coming out to chase that loose puck. The Islanders have come from a 2-0 deficit. They've tied it at 2. On the face-off, Rangers shoot in. Parisi clears it out of the zone. Beverly takes it center, throws it ahead. Westfall intercepts. Back pass Hart. Hart moves to the red line and then trickles it in. Right side of Jockman. Eddie stops it with the stick, leaves for Beverly. Beverly looks to clear out. Now Beverly decides to carry it out. Goes to center. A drop for Rattel. Rattel back to Vickers and across the end of the line. Back past Gilbert. His shot deflects wide. On the rebound of Beverly at the far corner. Pokes it toward the net. Battle for the puck there. Vickers decking hard, but the Islanders come up with it. Here is Parisi out of the zone. Parisi up to center. Parisi up across the Ranger line. A drop for Drew, and he cuts to the near side. He's checked there by Park, who knocks it aside, and Rattel takes and shoots it out of the zone. At center, it is Lewis. Lewis throws it ahead. Park intercepts, leads Rattel. Rattel and across the out of the line. Loses control. Vickers regains, tries to center, but it's broken up by Marshall, who sends to Bruin at center. Bruin is up across the Ranger line. Bruin stick handles in. Back pass. Then a return. Bruin turning on the defense. Shoots one and one knocked away. Rattel takes it away from Westfall and sends to center ice to Marat. Close call for the Rangers right there. Marat throws in. A bloop to the right of Resch. 6.5 remaining third period, and we're tied at 2. Now here is Gillies up to center. Gillies up to the Ranger line. Looks to flip the way does. He shoots. Scores! Clark Gillies has put me out of it on top 3-2. A breakdown of the Ranger defense of Marat and Greshner. Gillies splitting right through. And this game is completely turned around.
Islanders taking control of the hockey game. Hustling. Gillies doing that on sheer hustle. A puck bouncing on Greshner between the two of them. Greshner trying to poke it out and hit Gillies in the chest. Drop down behind Greshner, and Gillies going in that direction. Pete Jockman with a great shot to the corner.
Eddie Jockman, who had been so brilliant, has things turned around, although only one goal can be called Eddie's fault when he gambled and came out, and it just did not work with John Potvin able to get to the puck after it took a tricky hop. And now he's beaten on a breakaway by Gillies. The goal by John Potvin, assisted by McMillan and Marshall at 11:51. Now Gillies from Westfall and Lewis at 13:30. Islanders 3, Rangers 2, and a tremendous turnaround. Off the face, Rangers shoot in. Hart back behind the Islander net. Whips it around the board, kept in by Marat, sends to the corner to Irvin. Irvin looks to set up Stankowski in front, but it's broken up by Dennis Potvin. Ahead it goes to the right wing, Nystrom. Nystrom up to center, backhands it in. Left side of Jockman, Eddie makes the stick stop, loses on a stick check down to St. Laurent, gets it over to Howard behind the Ranger goal line, back to St. Laurent on the corner. He shoots one cross ice, then it's batted down by Irvin. Now Irvin had the stick over the shoulder, so we get a whistle, and play is called, and both firms now make line changes. You know, only Eastern has air shuttle service to Boston and Washington, leaving for Boston every hour on the hour from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. and to Washington from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. You can board the air shuttle at LaGuardia and be guaranteed a seat with no advance reservation. And from Newark, Eastern has a convenient schedule of reserved seat nonstops to both Boston and Washington. For reservations from Newark to Boston or Washington, call the travel specialist, your travel agent, or call Eastern, the wing of man. Face off inside the Ranger line, controlled by Park. Now all the pressure is on the New York Rangers. They trail the New York Islanders here 3-2. Park to Beverly, shoots in across the end of the line. Dennis Potvin takes and flicks it out to center. Whistle on the play, and they get an offside call, delayed offside call that time, and they bring it back face off outside the Islander blue line.
And Marv, the Islanders have the momentum. They knew they had to win a game here at the Garden. They've taken control of the hockey game, playing an outstanding third period. Now everything on the Rangers, and the Islanders with that momentum.
5:45 remaining third period. On the face-off, Park dumps it to center ice to Gillies. His pass broken up by Sanderson and taken by Faber and sends to the end of the line. Potvin looks to clear, intercepted by Sanderson, and Wood can shoot across it out of the blue line. Sanderson at the far side, checked by Potvin, sends to the side of the net, comes back the other way, and pinned by Dennis Potvin, and we get a whistle for a face-off. Face-off to the right side of Glenn Resch. Well, before the game, a lot of people were discussing, including ourselves, the importance of the first goal. As it turns out, it really did not matter. Brad Park scored it in the second period. Importance of the second goal did not matter either. Stankowski in the second period to give the Rangers a 2-0 lead, and the Islanders, never say die from all season long, have come up with 3 here in the third, and in dramatic fashion have taken the lead 3-2.
And Bob, that first goal that the Islanders got early in the period, the big one, the Rangers failed on a power play, the Islanders succeeded.
Off the face-off, it's sent to the far corner, picked up by Drew of the Islanders, loses control, then it's recovered by Westfall, and he shoots it out of the zone. The Islanders now in a defensive shell. Greshner back forward and Ranger ice, shoots it to center. Westfall in the center, swings for Bruin to move onside. Stick handles through. Look to break through to the fence, but Marv stick checks it away. Marv circles. His pass intercepted by Westfall. He feeds Bruin. Bruin backed by Gleshner. Sent to the boards. Back behind the Ranger goal line. Tremendous checking by the Islanders here. Finally, Gilbert comes up with it. Ahead it goes to Return center. Leads Vickers. Has a breakthrough. Cuts it. Shoots. And the save by Resch. Beautiful save by Resch. Coming out 5 feet to cut down the angle. Did not come out that much, but just enough to stop that drive and give Vickers very little to shoot at, and he covers up to stop play.
Great pass by Jean Rattel, sending Vickers in for that shot. And as you said, Marv, Resch was there. He just stood his ground. Vickers could not peek him. The rebound just came to Resch's right. Vickers unable to get his stick on that rebound.
Rangers go with the double center for Vickers and Gilbert. Park and Beverly are back. Westfall and Rattel on this face-off. It's loose at the circle. Worked free now by Bruin. Bruin moving around the far side. Sends to Dennis Potvin. He whips it around the boards for Hart. Hart hemmed in by Gilbert. Spun around by Gilbert. Rattel takes it away. Rattel checked off the front. And the loose puck picked up by Parisi. Ahead to Dennis Potvin moving in center. That's Parisi on the left. They cross the ring door and Potvin with the drive. Blocked by Park. Potvin takes the rebound. Then loses the Park. 4:20 remaining first period. Rangers down 3-2 as Gilbert moves to center. Gilbert for the out of the line. That shot just right. He crushed for the red line. Bounce off the board. Bounces in front. And Resch able to clamp the goes down.
And Resch with that good recovery on the shot. Gilbert's shot went through. However, it missed the net. It bounced back, hit the netting, and came out in front. Resch was able to get to it before Gilbert came in. And the Rangers starting to pick up the tempo a little bit. Emil Francis has used Jerry Butler throughout the hockey game on the right wing when Stepkowski and Irvin now needs to go as Rick Middleton out on right wing.
12 minutes, 13 seconds. Remaining third period. Rangers trailing 3-2 after leading 2-0. Stepkowski on this face-off against St. Laurent from the left side of Islander goaltender Glenn Resch. Off the draw. 35 Hart in the corner. Quick press Stepkowski winds it around the boards. And off the stick of Howard and carries all the way down. And Jockman out to stop. And steers it on the stick of Marat. Now Marat flips it ahead to Stepkowski. He's checked hard by Hart as he throws it in across the Islander blue line. Howard there. Middleton chases here, but Howard turned around, cuts to the goal line, banks it off the board, kept it by Gleshner. This shot to the point is blocked, deflects to the corner. Stepkowski then rolls it into the Herbert, back to the stick down, cuts the ball off the point. His shot is deflected by the stick of net, loose back behind the net, and it's picked up by Howard. A back pass to Potvin, back to Howard, and Howard then clears it. A good shot over the outstretched arm of Gleshner all the way down across the goal line of the Rangers were looking for icing, but no icing called, and the run clears it back to center to Stepkowski, and across the out of the line, breaks for the near side, back pass now for Gleshner, cross sides it goes to Marv, runs up, he shoots, sliding block by Bert Marshall, cannons it out to center, 3:15 remaining third period, and the Rangers down 3-2, here's Gleshner around Stewart, that's center, the privilege pass for Stepkowski, cuts in, he's got down the play, and a penalty upcoming against the Islanders, and a 50 penalty on Stewart, sending Stepkowski flying, and the Islanders arguing the call. A third break now for the New York Rangers. They will have the man advantage, and the face-off coming up in Islander ice.
And Ryan Resch set up the play. He had his back to Stepkowski and threw the puck between his own legs. The hit Stabber. Stabber was going to go in. He got a backhanded shot. Ralph Stewart with the hook from behind.
Out of the hook on Stewart at 16:55. Face-off coming up left side of the Islander net. Mark and Stepkowski scoring for the Rangers in the second to give them a 2-0 lead, and here in the third, Billy Harris on a power play. John Potvin and the breakaway by Clark Gillies. The Islanders 3, Rangers 2, 3:05 left third period. Rattel and Westfall will go on this faceoff. Circle to the left side of Glenn Resch, who has looked stronger and stronger as this game has progressed. Here's the face. Controlled by Dennis Potvin. He clears it all the way down on the left side of Jockman, and he makes the stick stop, playing it off the board. Gilbert is back forward now, and the Rangers will have to regroup this power play. Here's Gilbert, leading Rattel. He's across the red line with Vickers. Pass for Vickers, across the end of the line, back and loose to Rattel. It's off the mark, chase for the puck in the corner. Fabric crashing it on the boards with Marshall. Fabric throws out to the point to Gilbert. Watch by Westfall, ahead it goes to Rattel. The angle's in the slot, but Bruce is controlled, and Westfall is able to do it all the way down. Rattel Gilbert looking to set up for an infield shot. Lost control. The Rangers again have to start from deep. Pass to center until it's hit and dunked by Marshall, and Westfall will slide it hit across the Ranger line. Henning is back for it. Henning looking to kill the clock. Then he looks to send it front to Westfall. Intercepted by Gilbert. Rangers are really building up on this power play attack. Gilbert heads out of pocket center. A minute remaining on the penalty. The Bedwin across the end of the line. He cuts into the corner. Sends him for a blocked away. Comes to the point. Gilbert lines it up. He shoots. Save. Trouble had a stick on it in front, but Rush able to follow the shot and come up with a stick save. And the Islanders clear once again. Gilbert back forward now as the Islanders change on the go. Westfall heading to front. Gilbert to center. He's up to the end of the line. He comes to the right. Back past the Fairwood at the right point. Cross right to left point mark. He shoots. Up save made by Rush, and he holds on. Vickers taken out of the play beautifully by Dennis Potvin. Vickers started out in front of Rush, Sal, and Potvin caught him back behind the net as that shot was plucked out of the air by Rush.
And he just rode him out. Potvin doing the wise thing, letting Glenn Rush take Brad Falk one-on-one from the deep shot, and Rush was able to handle it. Rush coming up with some super saves. The one on the shot by Gilbert, which was deflected by Rattel. Rush still able to get a pad on it.
Time running down on the New York Rangers. 40 seconds on that Ralph Stewart penalty. A minute 45 remaining third period. 3-2, the Islanders on top. Westfall and Henning return now to attempt to kill off this Islander penalty. Rangers go with Stankowski at center for Irvin and Middleton. Clark and Gilbert back on the face-off. Controlled again by the Islanders and cleared by Henning. The length of the ice. Gilbert back forward. Gilbert picks it up behind the goal line and now starts up. Accelerates to center and a drop for Stankowski. Stiller slips it in. For Irvin, he goes over the drive and it's blocked. Westfall takes it, clears it out of the zone. Minute 25 remaining third period. 15 seconds on the out of the penalty. Here's Clark moving at center. Pass off the skates of Stankowski. And then pad again. Number 18, Eddie Westfall is there to clear it all the way down. Clark back forward. 5 seconds on the out of the penalty as Clark moves to center. Clark down the center slot. Clark up to the out of the line, but a whistle for offside. Irvin and Stankowski beat it in. And they'll bring it out for a face-off outside the end of the blue line. A minute 7 remaining. Third period. Just 2 seconds now on the Ralph Stewart penalty.
And Eddie Giacomo will be coming out of the cage pretty soon. As soon as the Rangers penetrate into Islander end, I'm sure you'll see Giacomo make a dash for the bench, and he will practice putting on a substitute. Stemmer anticipating the pass from Falk going offside on the play.
Face-off coming up now between Stankowski and Dillon. The Islanders looking for pull-off and upset by beating the Rangers in this opening game here at Madison Square Garden. They lead it 3-2, and they came from a 2-0 deficit to take that lead. Not an easy task, particularly in a playoff game. Rangers were in a defensive shell most of the way. Kushner on the face control. Stewart has returned. Off to Stankowski, shoots it. Giacomo has left. Extra forward on the Sanderson comes on. Puck is loose in the corner and out on the ice. Emptied up for the Rangers. Dennis Potvin shoots it ahead to center. It is Clape on the run. 45 seconds remaining. A lead for Middleton across the out of the line. He cuts to the slot. He is bumped to the ice by Potvin. Out of his tank to get the Middleton. A shot. Save made. Rebound to Kushner at the point. His shot sticks aside. Sanderson on the rebound. Tries to put it puck to Stankowski, but it's knocked away. It comes back to the point. Kushner can't control. As Miller does, shoots it out to center. Race for the puck. Dennis Potvin beats Kushner, cuts it across the Ranger line. Angle drive is wide toward the empty net. 30 seconds remaining. Threw it after it. Threw it a shot from the angle. Blocked by Stankowski. Parisi back behind the net. All with Stankowski. Stemmer comes up with it. Sends a hit to center. Dennis Potvin intercepts. 15 seconds. Potvin shoots in for the whistle for an offside against the Islanders. Now they bring it back.
And Leon Stickel, the linesman on the play, is calling a face-off all the way back in the Islanders zone, calling it a deliberate offside on Dennis Potvin. And the Islanders were furious coming out to argue that play with Stickel. Had it not been the call that way, the face-off would have been at center ice. However, now it sets up the stage with 12 seconds left. The Rangers will have the face-off to the right of Glenn Rush, deep in Islander territory.
12 seconds remaining. Face-off upcoming. Islanders continue to argue that deliberate offside call by linesman Stickel. Islander captain Eddie Westfall continues the discussion now with the referee Wally Harris. Big face-off now deep in Islander ice. Rangers have pulled Giacomo. They have the empty net. The extra forward is on. It's Bertel. Vickers, Fairburn, Sanderson, Clark, and Gilbert on ice for the Rangers. And it'll be Westfall and Rattel on the draw. It has been a tremendous game for Eddie Westfall. 3-2, the Islanders on top. Both clubs talking it over now. Coach Al Auburn has called Parisi and Bruin over to the bench to give instructions. We're waiting to face off now. Wally Harris comes over to say, hey, let's play hockey. Auburn talking with Harris now. Finally, Parisi heads back toward the face-off circle. And now we're just about set. Westfall against Rattel on this draw. Puck drop, loose at the circle. Still loose. Controlled by Hoffman. Can't clear. Then he does to the near side, and it skips out of the zone. Deflects into the out of the bench. And the face-off coming up now. Outside the out of the blue line with just 5 seconds remaining.
The Islanders right now arguing that the Rangers should have been called for face-off all the way down. I think that's immaterial now. 5 seconds remaining, and the Islanders really are playing a super game, super defensively, Marv. They have kept the Rangers away from good scoring opportunities throughout this third period.
Westfall on the face now with Gilbert. The idea with Gilbert is that the hope is he can direct it towards Bresch, although the face-off is out deep. Linesman Hodges leans in on the face and is loose and center. Westfall takes. He takes the color from the Ranger line. He shoots. He goes wide. The buzzer sounds, and that's it. The protected Ranger club leaves the ice. The Islanders on the ice, pounding at each other. Steve Vickers just took his stick and poked it off the glass, right down below us. As the Rangers leave the ice, the Islanders appear as if they go to Stanley Cup. And I tell you this, it has now come down to a sudden one-game season for the New York Rangers, and that season will start, and I hope not to conclude, at the Nassau Coliseum on Thursday night.
And they're back to the wall. One more game, and they're out of it. The Islanders, a spirited hockey club. They worked. They continued to work. They did not die when they were down by 2 goals. They came back strong to win the hockey game, and deservedly so.
Quarter to the final. Islanders beat the Rangers coming from behind to jump in front as best 2 out of 3, 1-0. Back after this from Schaefer.
Now here's a word from America's oldest lager dealer.
Is the one bit of half when you're having more than one.
Did you know that the Schaefer people are the oldest and most experienced lager brewers in America? It takes experience to brew any fine beer, but it's taken a little bit more experience to brew Schaefer. One beer fine enough to give you flavor that never fades. And if you'd like to experience the result of all that brewing experience, all you gotta do is give a couple of frosty cold Schaefers a try.
Half it on the Schaefer Brewing Company, New York. Shots on goal in the third. Islanders 10, Rangers 7. Rangers outshot the Islanders 31-25. The penalties in the third. Hartford's at 139. Marv for interference at 420. Irvin for high sticking at 703. And Stewart for a hook at 16:55. Rangers growing a 2-0 lead on the goals by Perk and Stankowski in the second and the third. It was Harris on a foul play. It's Billy Harris of the Islanders. John Putman on a wraparound with Jokerman out of position. And then Clark Gillies on a breakaway with the game winner at 14:30. Sam will have the complete wrap-up on the post-game show in just a moment. The Islanders jump in front in game number 1 of our best 2 out of 3. 1-0. They have now won 3 straight from the New York Rangers, a club they had all kinds of problems with. Winning 2 straight here at the Garden. Sunday night, as it turns out, was their first ever victory here at the Garden. Now they've come roaring back here with the 3-2 come from behind win here in the opener of the playoffs. The very first playoff game of all time for the New York Islanders, and of course, a memorable one. 3-2, the final score. From all the cheering we've been hearing tonight, so the crowd is really enjoying themselves, particularly the Islander portion of the crowd, and I would think a lot of these folks and just naturally cheerful. They'll probably wake up cheerful tomorrow. That is if they get a good night's sleep. And you know that it's hard to get if you happen to go to bed with a headache and can't sleep. The answer, Excedrin PM, the nighttime pain reliever. Excedrin PM relieves headache and its tension, helps you relax for a good night's sleep, so you should wake up feeling refreshed with no grogginess. Of course, you take Excedrin PM only as directed. But imagine feeling that good in the morning, even if you have a headache tonight. This is WNEW, Metro Media Radio in New York, the home of the Knicks, the Rangers, the Giants, and the Mets. And tough night all around for the New York Knicks and the New York Rangers. The Knicks were beaten by the Houston Rockets in Houston by the score of 99-84. Out of WNEW's umbrella, only the Mets had success today, as they won at Shea over the Phillies 2-1. Our next play-by-play broadcast, Mets and Phillies, on Thursday afternoon from Shea, airtime at 10 before 2, starting with the pregame. Thursday night, John and I will bring you the play-by-play as the Knicks take on the Houston Rockets in game number 2, airtime at 10 before 9. If there is a third and final game of this best of 3 between the Rangers and Islanders, it'll take place Friday night here at the Garden, and Sal and I will bring you the action starting same time, pregame show at 10 minutes before 9. Tonight's game was brought to you by Schaefer Beer, by Bristol Myers, makers of Ultraman Super Dry, by Miles Laboratories, makers of Alka-Seltzer, and by American Motors. Stay tuned for Sal in the postgame, followed by Dick Shepard right here on WNEW. Final again, the Islanders 3, the Rangers 2, the Madison Square Garden in New York. This is Marv Albert with Sal Messina. Now for the postgame, here's Sal.
Thank you, Marv, and for the Islanders, a super victory for them. They came into this hockey game, and they come into the series knowing they had to win one at the Garden. They've had trouble doing so. Rangers, playing the Rangers for one at a time before Sunday night here, and defeating the Rangers Sunday night, coming back with a big victory, coming from behind with 3 big goals in the third period to win the hockey game 3-2. First period was a tight checking game throughout. No goals scored. Rangers out shooting the Islanders 10-8. Penalties, Bert Marshall for tripping at 4:04. Teddy Irvin for fighting with... Teddy Irvin a fighting penalty, Gary Howard a fighting penalty, and Jerry Butler an elbow penalty, all on the same play. That's coming at 10:48. And J.P. Parisi a hooking penalty at 14:21. And the story in the hockey game, the Rangers' inability to score on the power play. Eddie Westfall, number 18 of the Islanders, one of the better penalty killers when he was with the Boston Bruins, just played a super hockey game. He, lawn hitting, Dennis Potvin, the complete Islander defense, Glenn Resch playing steady and goal throughout. In fact, both teams with the 5 goals scored, only one questionable goal. That's the goal that tied the hockey game up by Jean Potvin, and I'll get to that one in a minute. In the second period, a tight game continued. Brad Park, his first goal of the playoffs, scored the first goal of the hockey game, getting a face-off. John Rattel winning a face-off, throwing it back to Park, and on the way back, Roger Bear was hesitant to know whether to go for the puck or not. Did not. Park took the shot. Dennis Potvin pushing out Steve Vickers in front of the net, and it had a hit off of Dennis Potvin, as they originally had given the goal to Steve Vickers, but after looking at the replay, I'm sure they saw that Dennis Potvin deflected into the net, and the Rangers led 1-0. Peter Stemkowski at 19:25 on a play where the Islanders completely lapsed off. Park carrying it center, giving it to Beverly, who went over the blue line on the right side, shot. The puck sailed wide, carried out the other side. Stemkowski coming down the left side, fired it to the left of Resch, who was moving over after cutting down the angle on Beverly. A beautiful shot by Stemkowski, catching right inside the post, and that tied the hockey. That put the Rangers ahead 2-0. Second period ended that way. Penalties: Irvin and Lewis at 9:27 for high sticking. Dennis Potvin of the Islanders for tripping at 15:27. Glenn Resch, Rod Gilbert, both getting slashing penalties at 15:45. And while Dennis Potvin was off, the Rangers had a 4-on-3 opportunity and weren't able to score. Resch with a couple of good saves. Second period, shots on goal, Rangers 14, Islanders 7, and the Rangers led after 2 by the score of 2-0. In the third period, Jerry Hart went off for tripping at 1:39, and again, Rangers failed to score on the power play. Gilles Marat went for interference at 4:20 of the third period, and that's when it started. Islanders with a couple of good opportunities, finally with J.P. Parisi and Jude Brewing, and they also played exceptionally well, doing a lot of digging behind the net, the puck drifting into the corner. Harris and Beverly battling, Harris coming out with the puck, with Parisi to the right of Jockman. Harris just walked out, deep once on Jockman, put it up high, and then brought the Islanders to within one. That power play goal, the only power play goal of the game. And if you really look down to it, the Islanders were able to score on a power play, the Rangers were not. Then at 11:51, Billy McMillan to Bert Marshall. Bert Marshall dumping it in, a race for the puck. Derek Sanderson, Jean Potvin in the race. Jockman coming out, scrolling for it. Had a piece of it. However, it went behind the net. Potvin was all alone, picked it up, went around the net, had an empty net to put it into, tying the hockey game up 2-2. And the momentum was all over the Islanders. They had it. They were down 2-0, and they picked up, as the Rangers did in Atlanta on Friday night. Irvin picking up a penalty at 7:03 and Stewart for hooking at 16:55. But the big goal, Clark Gillies, assisted by Westfall and Lewis. Puck going into the Ranger end, deflecting off Greshner, hitting Gillies in the chest. Gillies just bullying his way through Maroc, and Greshner picked it up, and a beautiful shot, beating Jockman right inside the post on Jockman's glove side. The Islanders went 3-2, and they went on to win a hard-fought hockey game. The Islanders a strong third period to win it, and the Rangers have their backs against the wall. They have to go into Long Island and Nassau Coliseum and win that game on Thursday night, or it's an early ending for the season for the New York Rangers. Stars awarded here for Clark Gillies. First star, Jean Potvin. Second, Brad Park. Third, I'd have to give Eddie Westfall the first star. An assist on a winning goal in a super hockey game throughout. Shots on goal in the third period. The Islanders had 10, Rangers 7. Totals for the game, Rangers 31, the Islanders 25. But the score, the Islanders 3, the Rangers 2, and the Islanders take the lead in the best 2 of 3 series, 1-0. Other games in the opening round of the Stanley Cup playoff, the Boston Bruins swarming all over the Chicago Blackhawks, and the Blackhawks have had injury problems throughout the season. Playing the season as playing a playoff, the first game of the playoffs, the way they played during the season, not very good at all. Boston winning that 8-2. In fact, the Blackhawks, a strong favorite for first place in their division, ended up third. In Pittsburgh, with St. Louis jumping off into a 2-0 lead, they could not hold it to hold those high-scoring Penguins down. The Penguins ending up winning the hockey game 4-3. A later start out on the West Coast. Toronto was at L.A. Well, a bad night for the Knicks. Also, they traveled out to Houston for the opening game of their 2 out of 3 series. Houston winning that one 99-84. Knicks led at the end of the first quarter. However, Houston taking a lead at the half by 7, at the end of 3 quarters by 7, and finally winning by 15. Other NBA playoff games tonight, Detroit, and a later start is out at Seattle. In the ABA, the Nets off. Game 2 versus St. Louis tomorrow night at the Nassau Coliseum. Kentucky at home defeating Memphis 119-105, and Kentucky leads that series 2-0. In baseball, the game heard earlier on WNEW at Shea. The Mets 2, the Phillies 1, a 6-hitter for Tom Seaver, and Dave Kingman in his first National League start for the New York Mets hit a home run. At Cleveland, Cleveland Indians 5, Yankees 3, a successful managerial debut for Frank Robinson. He also hit a home run in his first at-bat. Gaylord Perry going all the way for the victory. Well, the New York Islanders are a surprising club throughout, and a club who worked all season long. Good defensive hockey club throughout the season, consistent. Good here again. Keeping the Rangers to within 2 going into the third period, scoring a power play goal, and then the goal by Jean Potvin. The final here again at the Garden. The Islanders 3, the Rangers 2. And that's backs to the wall for the Rangers. They'll be at the Nassau Coliseum on Thursday night. Other sports broadcast Thursday afternoon at 1:50, the Mets and the Phillies from Shea. Thursday night, the Knicks in Houston here at the Garden, starting with John Andres in the pregame show at 8:50. And Friday night here at the Garden, if necessary, if the Rangers should defeat the Islanders out at the Nassau Coliseum, starting at 8:50. That about does it for the postgame. I'm Sal Messina. Stay tuned for Dick Shepard, sitting in for Jim Lowe, who returns to Jim Lowe's New York tomorrow night, right here on WNEW Metro Media Radio in New York.
Thank you, Sal. Well, our 2 teams blew it, folks. The Rangers and the Knickerbockers. May I say, the Rangers put up more of a fight than the Knicks did tonight. Sad, sad, sad. But we must wend our way. It's 17 minutes before 12 midnight. I'll have the races for you. I'll have the weather for you. I'll have some music for you. And a rundown of the sports scoreboard for you. And then, Wild Bill Hickok.